Hey guys, it's your boy Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, aka Vulcan Wolverine 2. It's about 6:20 here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, September 5th, 2019. Pretty stressed to the gills. The war continues. The war definitely continues. Welcome, into chat. Anybody who's coming into chat, I hope you guys are finding strength and finding peace. It's a living nightmare. I found some defenses that kind of balance it out, but there are good times and bad times. It is a nightmare. But I wanted to do a live stream. I wanted to do a live stream and show. There's a speech that was done in front of the BBC that I wanted to show, and I wanted to show the guy's channel that was at the BBC rally. And then I also wanted to show y'all a channel on YouTube. And I might take my anger out a little bit because I need to take my anger out on something. And this channel on YouTube, it's called Transhumania. And it's basically just like I'll show you all the channel. It's propaganda for transhumanism. It's getting people excited about it, and it's so popular. Just the good stuff, just the convenient stuff. Nobody talking about actually people with their heads and their bodies being ripped apart in their homes by neuroweapons that flies under the radar of the public. But it's like, hey, we want to get everybody ready for all the cool artificial telepathy. And putting stuff in your bodies, and we want to get everybody excited. But just the convenient stuff, just the convenient, happy, safe stuff. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. You're going to have some frequencies jacked into your head, and it's going to be good. No, you're going to control it. There's not going to be any back doors or anything like that. It's not already happening. This is for stuff that's going to happen far into the future. And we want to, let me tell you the tagline for their channel is a vaccine. What is it? Hold on. Let me look at it. I'm going to show you all the channel. The tagline for the channel is, oh, I went off the screen. A vaccine for future shock. A vaccine for future shock. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean when they're talking about frequencies being hooked up to the brain and cyborg parts and transhumanism and AI tapping into the brain? I'll show you some of the. We'll go through some of these videos. But what does that mean? A vaccine for future shock. It means predictive programming. It means we're gonna trickle this out. The evil people at the top of the pyramid, they're gonna trickle out the convenient stuff about this doom of humanity. They're gonna shove the people who are being tortured and murdered by this technology. They're gonna shove that off to the side. And and then we're gonna read some of the comments too. We're gonna read some of the comments by some of the most boneheaded idiots who seem to be able to understand really, really complicated technology. Just they don't want the inconvenient stuff, the people being tortured in their homes. No. We're gonna ignore that. But hey, somehow, theoretically and magically, scientists just figured out how to hook up, microchips and implants to the nervous system in the brain. It was just all theoretical, and then it's just made for just magic. The consumer products just came out of nowhere, just they had a theory, and then the microchip came out, and then people who want it, they just get it, and it just magically works. Where the F do people think that's coming from? I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting way ahead of myself. If you hear, I have the Native American flutes playing to de-stress me. So I'm gonna calm down for now. I hope you guys are doing all right. Let me open up my chat room, guys. I'm gonna open up my tablet too. Hey, politically persecuted. Hey, politically persecuted Bristol, UK. Did you go to the BBC rally? I'm gonna get my tablet open too. I want to show y'all some stuff that got me very, very angry, because we go through the most significant torture and trauma in human history, and yet this channel on YouTube, oh, cool. Yeah, I'm going to show a video, politically persecuted. I'm going to show a video by, let me kind of calm down. When I pump too much adrenaline in my system, the adrenaline that I have left, I get very shaky and stressed. But Mark Williams did a great speech outside of the BBC, so I wanted to show that kind of to start things off. First, I want to tell y'all about something pretty effed up. Like, I'm doing pretty well with my defenses. My attackers get through sometimes, but I've got kind of a holding pattern going. I'm talking to a lot of targeted individuals that do not have a holding pattern going. Their targeting is really bad. It stresses me out. Even if I get into a semi-manageable situation, it's still just like people I really love, and targeted individuals out there are just suffering, where it's just like it's just the worst nightmare, and it's all the time, and it never stops. So it's really frustrating. I guess I just needed to get that out, but let me show you guys something. So in my family kind of thinks that I'm nutty. I guess all of our families kind of think we're a little bit nutty, and even some targeted individuals think I'm a little bit nutty, because when I leave my house, I put all of my supplements and any defenses that are working well. I put my less EMF headwear. I put my transcranial stimulation device. I put it in the book sack, everything, and I carry it everywhere. And people are like, well, people probably aren't breaking in your house. I'm like, well, maybe that's stopped, maybe. So, but still, just in case, right? Okay, and let me tell you something. Let me tell you guys something. So I decided to be a little bit risque, right? And just trust that nobody was breaking into my house. I wanted to just trust, I'm being too paranoid. That's probably stopped. My old house, people were breaking in. In this condo, I've got a camera outside. I've got a camera outside that's going to see if anybody comes into my condo when I'm gone. So nobody's going to come into my condo when I'm gone. I'm being a little bit too overprotective, right? I'm being a little bit too paranoid. So I started leaving this transcranial stimulation device right next to my computer when I left. I've started doing that. I'm like, nah, nobody's going to come in and mess with that. Whatever. It's working very well. It's a good defense, but the camera's going to catch them, and unless it's the maintenance guy, coming in my house. So I've been doing that for about 2 weeks, leaving my transcranial stimulation device in my house when I leave, and just recently it stopped working, and I was like, why is it? It's like cutting in and out. It's not really working. What the hell is going on here? And I look at it, and it's been cut. The little plug, let me show you. This plug that goes in here, I had an extra one. Thank goodness. Thank you, God, that they gave me an extra one, but I thought I was gonna have to order another one, because like, if I get on these videos without my transcranial stimulation device, I feel really anxious. Like my attackers, manipulate my autonomic nervous system with neuro weapons. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to calm down, guys. Stressed out. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to breathe and listen to the sounds of my 5% ancestors, the Native Americans, and their flute music. Okay, so this is an insane war. Going out and just the gang stalking is running like clockwork, and people in the condo are looking at me like I'm some kind of dangerous freak and gang stalking me. It's the most. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I know you guys know the horror of this. And then I see a channel that's celebrating all the stuff that we're being tortured for. We're being tortured and experimented on so they can trickle out these consumer products and medical advancements, and nobody talks about the lives being destroyed. You know, there's a lot of targeted individual videos. Like we're getting some like hundreds of thousands of views and stuff like that. The really well produced stuff and the bigger stuff. So there is a, you know, we're fighting back, but it really makes me angry. But this little part on my transcranial stimulation device that plugs in right here, and this, I never move it. I put it right there, very gentle with it. The plastic never bends ever, but I start leaving it at my condo when I start going out. I don't put it in my book sack because I'm like, Kyle, you're being too paranoid, Kyle. Your maintenance guy's not breaking in. He's not breaking in and stretching out your underwear and doing a bunch of weird satanic crap. He seems like a nice guy. He's not doing that. He's not doing that. It's the targeting. It's making me paranoid. Bull crap. I'm going to take everything with me from now on in my book sack because somebody freaking came into my place when I kept leaving this in there because it's such a good defense, you know, with my other stuff. And they freaking cut this. They cut it. They cut it. And it's somebody that knows how electrical equipment works. And how in the hell would anybody just think, oh, well, this guy is a person of interest and we're just breaking a transcranial stimulate? Wouldn't they ask questions? Wouldn't they be like, why does this guy have a transcranial stimulation device? Why am I being asked to break said transcranial stimulation device? You know, whoever did this, like my neighbor or somebody in the condo or the maintenance guy, they had to have known, like, oh, well, this is something weird's going on because I'm being asked to break some transcranial stimulation device. They would have to ask that question, you know. So I'm glad I had an extra one, but I mean, it's like it was just cutting in and out, and I'd never bent this part, but I started leaving it in my house. I started leaving it in my house instead of taking it with me, which is a mistake I'm not going to make again. Which is a mistake. I'm not paranoid. To be a little bit overly paranoid is to be safe, you know, with this stuff. Because these gang stalkers are just out of their mind. You know, I think everybody's just being mind controlled. Everybody's being mind controlled, remote neural manipulated, hooking up with DHS fusion centers. They just can't imagine. They can't imagine what's actually happening in their reality. So instead of just ignoring it at the least, they participate in it and they get themselves ready and their families ready to be chopped meat on the block. Feeling a little bit negative today, guys. Sorry about that. But you know, this video, I'm probably going to let loose a little bit on this channel, Transhumania, because it's very upsetting. And YouTube is like promoting it. It went from like 5,000 subscribers to 20,000 subscribers in a week. And it's just, YouTube is they're pumping their videos out. And there's no way that it's just one guy making the videos, the production values and everything. It's a team of people making these transhumanism videos, and they never say any of the negative stuff. They don't talk about the people being tortured, families being torn apart, the mass shootings that are happening, V2K telling people to do stuff. It's all about like, oh, well, this stuff is just going to happen magically in the future. It's just it's theory based, and they're creating this technology based off of theory, right? They're not actually using it on humans. It's going to be magic. It's going to magically work. It's just a theory, and it's not being used on anybody, but it's just going to magically work. When we make this consumer product and hook it up to somebody's head or have wireless signals go into a headset, it's just going to magically work, just on theory alone. The people, and you know, that would be fine if people thought that retarded thought. If targeted individuals all over the world, millions of them, weren't saying, hey, we're being tortured, my head's being messed with, V2K, remote neural manipulation, mass shootings where people say the V2K is telling them what guns to buy and what exit to go in or what entrance to go in. I mean, it would be, if none of this was out there and people weren't talking about it, I could see how stupid people who were so stupid just thought that this magically came into existence, and there wasn't decades and decades of horrific torture to innocent families, to innocent families. I don't see how, and I'm going to read some of these comments, and I'll probably yell. And then I have homework for us all with that channel. I have plans. Oh, I have plans. Not violent plans or anything like that. Do a lot more without violence, but it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. Let me get my charger set up here. I don't think I'm gonna I don't think I'm gonna open up the chat for people to. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna open up the panel for people to come in on this one, because I have some stuff I want to go through, guys. But then the next one, I'm definitely doing a defense thing. And not only am I going to go through all the defenses that I use, I'm going to explain step by step how I use them and how frequently, and get very detailed into that, because I kind of, like, most of the time I'll kind of not talk about that. I'll just be like, hey, we'll just try Dave Case's CD. And I just assume that when a targeted individual gets it, they're just going to try every different way of doing it. You know, I had to try a bunch of different ways, so I'm going to get very detailed on some of those things on my defensive video next. But this was, like, I was freaking out, guys. I was freaking out. Like, this was broken, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to order a new one. I'm going to have to spend like a week without this thing. It purposefully broken. Somebody breaks into my place and stretches out my underwear. And I think some targeted individuals would have a hard time believing that. Some have break-ins all the time. Like, I get texts all the time that people are getting break-ins. So some people can understand it, but I think even amongst targeted individuals, some of this crap that's done to us, you know, it's hard to understand if you're getting a different protocol, or maybe it's not happening to you, you know. All right, guys, I'm gonna stop ranting for a second. I'm gonna turn off the flute music. Kind of gets me in a less stressed out state, I guess. I don't know. It's really, because like I'm like, I bring, you know, I'm right. My instincts are always right, and I bring my stuff with me wherever I go for a reason. Because I've had so many people mess with my stuff in my old house and in the condo that I lived in that now my parents have. And then this one, like, I do things for a reason, but then after I start doing things right for a while, I don't experience it right, because I'm bringing everything with me. So I'm not experiencing people poisoning my stuff or stealing my stuff or breaking my stuff. But then, oh, well, I'll just leave it in my place. I'll just, you know, and then when I do that, they break it. Somebody breaks into my condo with a camera pointed at the door, which I'm sure the homeowners association will gladly think that there's some kind of authority in people breaking into my home. Like, oh, it must just be the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department must just be checking out a person of interest and breaking into his home and breaking his stuff. Oh, this is just the law now. I mean, what the hell is wrong with people? This is insane. It's insane. And we've been saying it for so long. And then we have these trash channels coming out that are like, oh, transhumanism's so good. And it just came out of left field, just magically. It's just theoretical, the Neuralink device. Elon Musk just, he had a dream one night, and he just thought it up about how all these things would connect to the brain. It would connect from the vestibular system to the brain. It would just magically happen. There was no volunteers. There was no experimentation. Decades of people being ripped apart and their minds destroyed. And now millions of targeted individuals in the world who are being tortured. These consumer products and medical advancements and weapon advancements are not just coming out of nowhere. They're just not coming out of nowhere. I'm sorry, guys. I'm very frustrated. I'm just very frustrated right now. I mean, we're all very frustrated. So, you know. Hey, Healthy Living and other things. Hey, Lynette. Hey, Sleeping Beauty. Hey, Moment of Truth. How you guys doing? If y'all have channels and you want people to know about your channels, just make sure you put it in the chat. Okay, so Healthy Living, you found something good defensive-wise? I kind of got some stuff I want to go through, so I can't really go through that right now, but I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at it later. and see. And I'll look at it for, you know, for the defense video. So Melted Heart asks, what is the BBC rally? Well, let me show that first, guys. Let me share my screen, and we're going to go to, let me tell y'all whose channel it is. It is, I keep forgetting his name. It's Mark Williams' channel, and he went out to the BBC rally. So let me share my screen, and we're going to listen to his, speech first. Now, this is a channel. Everybody go to this channel, subscribe to him, and share this video, because it's a great speech. You know, it was a great speech at the rally. Let's go ahead and listen to it, guys, and then we're going to kind of get into this channel, Transhumania, and then what I might do. I was kind of thinking about like having people maybe come on if they wanted to come on and talk later, but I don't know. I have a lot of information on it, and I'll do that next time. I am wearing my my shirt right here. Stop gang stalking crimes. Become aware. Empower your world. Let's go to that. Let's go to that right now. Hold on. Let me check my texts real quick. Okay. All right. I'm gonna open up my chat room on my tablet. I guess we could go. Let me go to your link, Healthy Living. Oh, my tablet won't open up. It's just so weird. It's so weird where, like, you know, I've been bringing my stuff out of my house for, it has to have been a year now, no, more than a year. And I'm like, oh, well, nobody's messing with my stuff. Nobody's messing with the stuff that I bring with me because I'm bringing it with me. When I start leaving important stuff in my house, it was all she wrote. It took a couple of days for them to actually cut the electrical component. Like somebody in my condo that lives around here, either the maintenance guy, my neighbor, or somebody who's living around here, broke into my house, my condo, with a camera on the door. Like the homeowners association has a camera right on my door. They don't care. Like these people that are doing these criminal activities, they're protected. They feel protected while they murder and rape and break our stuff and poison us and all this stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, y'all know how incredibly ridiculous this is. It's just, it's a war. It is a war. I think it's hard for us to get into that perception. It's hard for me to stay in it sometimes. I'm like, well, I got to live my regular life and try, you know, and try and be happy somewhat and try and kind of have a normal life as I use the defenses. But then it's like you have people trying to rape you and microwave you all day while you have a civilian army of morons, that work like clockwork, that are driving, that get money, and they're like, I'm going to put my one headlight car on, or I'm going to say this thing that I've been ordered to, and they're just working for DHS fusion centers. They feel like they're totally justified just destroying the lives of innocent citizens. And I mean, we all, this has been how it's been, you know, since there were targeted individuals, but sometimes it's just like it gets too much. And then I see a channel like Transhumania, which I'm just going to show y'all a couple of videos and how they talk about it. They just make sure to leave out everything, every bit of experimentation and torture and destroyed lives of just random people all over the world. No, this stuff's just going to come into existence. This technology and its ability to interface with the brain and the nervous system, it's all theoretical. And when we drop the consumer product or we drop the medical advancement, it's going to be out of nowhere. How in the hell are these people in society saying that we're conspiracy theorists, but then they believe something like, oh, Elon Musk just came up with Neuralink? They had some monkeys that they tested it on, and that's it? I mean, that's the craziest thought in existence, that this technology just comes out of nowhere. Like, people just don't talk about where it came from, and yet targeted individuals all over the world are screaming, hey, my family's being murdered. Hey, my family's being murdered. Our minds are being screwed over and twisted, like frequencies interacting with the vestibular system in the brain. Hello, hello, hello. Rallies are going on, you know, rallies are going on that in this channel about transhumania, it's comfortable and convenient, and it's a lie. It's a black propaganda, bad for humanity, trying to get everybody ready. The ones who maybe will not be tortured severely. I guess there will be some people who are like controlled, but they're not completely tortured severely like us, you know, and just getting their little brains, getting their little marshmallow brains just ready for the just tsunami of Satanism and control of the mind in the end of free will. Let's just get them ready. No, it's like a I'll show you this Nietzsche quote at the beginning of it, saying how humanity has to overcome itself. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Humanity has to overcome, we have to beat ourselves. Have you heard anything so stupid and satanic? Have you heard anything so stupid and satanic? Humanity needs to get strong enough to defeat itself? Holy F. Holy F. All right, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have made a video. I was contemplating just making a short video of the protest of Mark Williams, the speech of Mark Williams, because I'm just like, I was driving in my car, and then there's like people driving by with one headlights just smiling and retarded. They don't care about anything. They don't know anything. They're already machines. They're like organic machines that are, you input crap in and crap is outputted. And that's it. And I think that's what we have, the people that are being severely targeted, that's what's different about us. You can't just input crap and then we output crap. You input crap and we're like, whoa, 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 that's crap. I don't want to eat crap. And they're like, okay, well, if you don't want to eat crap, we're going to like take these huge things and insert the crap into you. I think that's, you know, that's why we're targeted. I'm being sarcastic. Well, not really. I'm kind of saying how I feel. But I hope you guys are doing well. Sometimes you just got to get the anger out, you know. Hey, Brian, man, how you doing? So I wonder, Brian too says, organized stalking is controlled by fusion centers using an automated, active, and adaptive supercomputer notification system using smartphone technologies and picket surveillance. Yes, yes. And I'd like to add in, there's also InfraGard and then community watch programs from the Sheriff's Department. And then I think there's some other little organizations that help too. Slack TI says, Kyle, also more diplomats are allowed to come forward, and it's still all skeptical headlines. Yeah, I mean, you got the Cuban embassy workers, the Canadian embassy workers suing the Canadian government, and it's all just a mystery. Huh, well, we're still questioning whether it's crickets or mass hysteria. And people, it's been inverted. It's just all been inverted, where the mainstream line, the mainstream media, what they say is conspiracy theory, complete conjecture and lies, and it's just lies to the public. And then these people who are called conspiracy theorists are telling the truth, and they're telling people they're in danger, but it's like, oh, well, we've got to stall for time, so those people telling the truth that are being murdered in their homes, you know, they're conspiracy theorists and they're crazy, and treat them worse. Not only are they going to be tortured and gang stalked, let's treat them worse when they come out and tell the truth about it. Let's treat them like they're crazy. Let's exponentially increase the evil, you know, and keep doing that. And hey, Laura says, I like your rant and cursing. Oh my, I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying not to curse. I am stressed out. I've been stressed out. Got some good things in my life, but some ultimate stresses from the targeting. I mean, relatively, I'm doing pretty good. A lot of other targeted individuals can get no relief, and that frustrates me to no end, because I mean, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, and I'm going to go over it on the defensive videos and just try and give you all as many ideas as I can. But it's like even when I get a little bit, you know, balanced with the defenses and stuff, it's still like there's so many people who are just suffering and can't find anything. It's maddening. Okay, so healthy living and other things. Put her channel Healthy living, are you a girl or a guy? I'm not trying to be insulting. Because I just want to be like her or him. Let me guess. I don't want to guess. I don't want to guess. Can you, well, okay, we'll go past that. I think, I'm going to look at your channel and I'll see. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be insulting healthy living. My brain is just weird. And I don't know sometimes. I don't know by people in the chat, what sex they are. Okay. So healthy living, another thing says, I was being targeted last night on the bottom left side of my brain. I could barely lift up my head from my pillow. Yeah. Yeah, it gets really bad. It's really, really bad. I've been dealing with a little bit of V2K, but like I stick with these noise canceling hearing aids. And then I restarted taking lorazepam, 0.5 milligrams a day. Now I'm not taking it every other day. I'm kind of taking it every day now. You know, and it just suppresses the nervous system. So I'm not waking up as sore, but my attackers are like still trying to do all this stuff. And the automated system are still trying to do all this stuff. They're trying to hook in the parasitical system, and the parasitical shift workers are trying to hook in, but it's just like you can do these things so their hooks kind of slide off. It takes a while to get that going. And then sometimes the hook, it won't slide off. Some hooks will get in on certain things, and then it'll be bad. Like in my back, like right now they're burning my back a little bit, but it's kind of buffering out. We got to use science, guys. This is just frequencies. It's frequencies that interact with our body. You know, it's frequencies that interact with our body. So you can try and stop it here. You get different layers. You try and stop the frequencies coming in. Then you try and stop it when it's conducting on your skin. So that's another layer. So you're trying to block it when it comes in. Then you're grounding your skin. So your skin's less conductive. Dave Case's CD on. So it's stopping the frequencies that are conducting along the skin into the vestibular system. And then you attenuate how it's interacting with the nervous system. Hey, Cyber, how you doing? How was the Venice? Did y'all put any videos out of the Venice rally? Because I want to show those. If y'all come out with some videos, let me know. I heard it was awesome. Like I heard you guys, it was pretty big. So guys, let me show this real quick. I'm gonna kind of get into it because I really want to rant about this Transhumania channel, but I really want to show this. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick. I'm just all sorts of unorganized, and right before the video, like I turned on the transcranial stimulation device, and it was like going bent. It was kind of working and then shutting off, and then I found out somebody had cut the end of it. So I was like freaking out, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to order another one. Oh man. And then I found out I had an extra one, but somebody cut it. They cut it. So I mean, it kind of tells you. I mean, I guess we'll look at it this way. It kind of tells us what's working. I mean, I already knew it was working because of the way that it was working. I mean, just can you see? Cut that thing. Like I don't move this. When I wear my transcranial stimulation device, I don't move it. I put it in my pocket. Like okay, like a PlayStation controller or something I'm using all the time and moving, I can see, or like I don't know, I'm trying to think of something, but there are some electronic devices that they bend. The plastic bends. Like I get that. This doesn't move ever. This was cut. And it's somebody who understands how electrical devices function. Like I thought people were just coming into my place thinking that I'm like a person of interest and just doing these random things because they thought it would intimidate me or run me out of the condo place. But this is pretty specific, on a pretty specific device, that somebody should ask a question like, why am I breaking a transcranial stimulation device? Why is this kid using a transcranial stimulation device? Maybe things are a little bit more complicated. Maybe they know all about the microwave torture. Maybe some gang stalkers, they're Masonic, and they're ex-military, and they understand that innocent citizens are being hit with this stuff. I go easy on them. sometimes. I try and go easy and say, probably people, no matter what, or it's not going to have idiots out there. And I'm not talking about any of you guys watching this video or in the chat. I'm talking about non-targeted individuals who know nothing about their world. They know nothing about how bad things have gotten. And they're the type of people that would go to this Transhumania channel and clap. Oh, it's so great. Oh, it's so great. Oh, they're gonna put a chip in front of me, and I'm gonna get to decide. I want to use the chip. I want to use the chip for a couple of minutes, but then I don't want to use it, and I get total control over it. And they think that's how things are gonna work. No, everybody's being implanted with nanotechnology and Morgellons all over the world. You don't get a choice. And then people are being non-consensually implanted with chips the size of a grain of rice, and they're not told. It's in surgeries. Doctors participate in it. They don't care about the person's consent because the military-industrial complex, 9/11 happened, terrorism, national security. We can do whatever we want to any citizen in our country, and that's how a bunch of other countries are run too. And it's just complete tyranny, complete war zone tyranny. It's just a technocratic, different form. This is a different form of world war. It's a different form so that the dummy, big percentage of the public who has its breads and circuses. Oh, and let me tell you, I hung out with my parents and my aunt the other night, and they were watching America's Got Talent or whatever crap show that was. Boy, and I said in my head, the thing that I immediately said in my head when I saw that, I said, oh, there are the breads and the circuses. That's the bread and the circuses right there. And that's for men and women. Then you got football. Then you got whatever else kind of crap. You got YouTube videos that are crap, that make up channels, and just asinine Jake and Logan Paul, who are healthy, right? Oh, they're healthy and they got a lot of energy. Ooh, they got a lot of energy, but they're retarded. They're retarded, and they know nothing about society. But ooh, they got a lot of energy. That's what the kids like. That's what the kids like, somebody with a lot of energy, even if they're a moron and know nothing and are going to lead people into death. They got some good energy. We like them. Oh, those people being tortured, they're low energy. Oh, that's an inconvenient truth. It's an inconvenient thing we don't want to deal with. We'll just wait for the murder to come and our families to be tortured. We'll just wait for that. Wow, I'm really, I don't know what's going on with me right now. It's just so stressful. It's like the heaviest thing all the time. All the time. I mean, I try and find little pockets of peace, and I found some miracles in my situation, but still, it's like I can't even imagine you guys that you have no peace and there's no attenuation of this stuff, and then you got to deal with the insanity that seems to keep building and building and building. That's why I get so frustrated. Like we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Things are coming out. I'm in a mood today. At least I have energy. Like I feel like I have energy. I took some Drenamine, drank an energy drink, and sometimes it's like when I get so stressed out, there's this backlash where I'll start pumping myself up, and I start feeling like goosebumps all in my body because I'm like, oh, I gotta do this. It's like that. I'll nerd out for a second. But I think I've nerded out on this before. It's like this episode of The Flash where there's this huge thing sucking. It's like a reality sucking vortex in the middle of the city, and it's sucking everything into it. And he's talking to this professor guy, and the professor guy's like, it's impossible. You can't stop it. You can't stop that thing, Flash. You can't stop it. You can't stop it, Flash. You can't stop that vortex. You can't stop that vortex, Flash. And the Flash looks at him and says, I have to try. And that's what we have to do. This is out of control. It's an out of control war, but we have to try. And I get that. It's like that backlash. You've got to get a backlash going in your system, And sometimes we've got to remain calm. We've got to remain calm and meditative, but sometimes it's just like the stress gets so much. It's like seeing that voice, it's seeing that vortex, and the professor's saying you can't, nobody can stop that flash, nobody can stop that vortex. And he's like, I gotta try. And because he goes and he tries, right, and somebody else helps him, they do it. They end up stopping the vortex because they tried. I'm sorry, I'm nerding out completely. Let's go to this. I'm gonna share my screen, guys. I'm gonna share my screen. Maybe I can keep the energy level up, and and we can do some more videos where I get people on and we talk about defenses and stuff, and we can keep the momentum going. We need to, after the rallies. I know that it's kind of it's maybe human nature to be like, oh, okay, oh, we got the rallies going, let's see what happens. But we really, when these good things happen, we need to take that momentum and just keep lathering it up, keep whipping it up. So this is Mark Williams' channel, and he is from England. Let's listen to his speech, guys, while I try and kind of chill out. I think it's the break. Well, no, there's a couple of things that I'm stressed out about. There's a lot of couple of things, right? As a target, there's a couple of things that are stressing me out. Just people being tortured in their homes, just my dad being tortured in front of me and not believing it. Just those things. Just people breaking into my house and doing weird, like sexual things to my stuff. Like these old men, and some old man in here, some old man in my condo is breaking into my place and messing with my underwear. I mean, maybe it's a woman. I don't know. I don't know, because I'm not here when they break in, because they've got us surveilled. So they wait till we go out and stuff like that. I mean, that's a common sense we know about gang stalking. But I was like, oh, no. I got the camera. I got the camera on the door. No problem. Got the camera on the door. The homeowners association will see that. They'll see somebody breaking my house. But oh, if it's the maintenance guy, hey, he can just say, well, I was checking on his air conditioner or something like that, while he stretches out my underwear and cuts my electronic equipment. That seems pretty significant. It would seem like a pretty significant clue, right? Like a transcranial stimulation device. I'm walking out and seeing the dude, and I'm wearing these hearing aids. Maybe something's going on, and maybe he knows, and I'm not sure. Maybe he knows. Maybe he completely knows that people are being tortured, and maybe he thinks that we deserve it. That's like my big concern. It's like people will start knowing that this is happening, but they'll see that it's such a powerful system, and that there's a lot of money behind this, and they'll want to justify it any way that they can. So they'll be like, oh, well, those are criminals. Those are criminals being tortured, or people who would be criminals, right? Like the Minority Report, the pre-crime. Oh, those are just people who might commit a crime someday. I mean, people are so stupid that is that what they're going to go to? Is that what they're going to try and justify next? But then they'll look at a video, they'll look at this channel, and I'm going to show you all this Transhumania channel, and be like, oh, we totally believe that. We totally believe it because it's convenient and fun. And they're not saying anything dangerous. There's nothing dangerous that they're saying, because, oh, if anything has danger in it, or anything where we have to do something, well, we're too soft for that. Our spines are gone. And our brains are marshmallow. Our forefathers, how they fought, that's gone. That's gone. And it's not gone. It's just a big percentage of the public. If Jake Paul and Logan Paul are popular, then we've got a big problem on our hands. If they're getting millions and millions of views, then we've got the next generation being prepped to be more moronic, spineless marshmallow heads that want to sell t-shirts. They're going to be an army of weird, like, marshmallow babies that have t-shirts and merch, and they're just going to be these like zombies that are like, buy my merch, buy my merch, buy my merch, buy my merch. And people are just going to be being mind controlled and killed all around, and buy my merch. I'm cool, man. Dab on it, dab on it, dab on it. I don't even know how to do a dab. I'm going pretty crazy, guys. I'm gonna go crazy in a good way, though. I mean, that's what we gotta do, right? This is gonna drive us crazy. So we just gotta, like, whatever, whatever positive thing you can shunt this into, can shunt your energy into, and we God's help, but I mean, it sucks of it. Okay, so let's check this out, guys. I listened to some of it before.
Hello, everybody. Can I have your attention, please? We are here today to make everyone aware of a very serious human rights abuse. This is actually one of 23 protests that is going on across the world right now to make people aware of this issue. This is International Day for targets of weaponry, directed energy weaponry, and stalking issues. International Targeted Individual Day. We are here today to say that there are crimes going on that are going unnoticed by the public's eye, under the radar of the public. These crimes are typically being committed against activists, truth seekers, and people who tell the truth about the corruption that is within our government and the intelligence agencies and private security firms who are also involved in this. These crimes seek to destroy a person's life and leaving them to the point of destitution, leaving them with no job at all. These programs are carried out typically by ex-military personnel through intelligence agencies such as MI5, GHCQ, but also private security firms have also been involved in this. According to whistleblower testimony, we know we have lots of evidence, and the evidence is there to see. And we encourage you to speak to people today. Take a leaflet and go and look. And go and look on the internet and go to credible whistleblowers. Look at credible whistleblowers who speak about this on the internet. There are whistleblowers such as Dr. Robert Duncan, an ex-CIA DoD agent in America who specifically worked on these weapons that are remotely used to demonstrate and destroy a person's life. He specifically worked on these weapons, and he blew the whistle about these, saying that these weapons are being used all around the world as state control, suppression method to silence activists, silence truth speakers, but also many of the innocent public have been targeted with these weapons. People who have not even spoken out, but the targets have one thing in common. None of them have broken the law. These are all innocent people.
And hey, Stacy. Hey, Diana. Hey, Jen. Let's see. Diana says people in the military and from military families can also be targeted. No one sect of society is immune to the targeting program. They are experimenting on all stratospheres of society. Yeah, I totally believe that. I mean, there's so many veterans, being targeted. And I think if you're in a military family, you're more likely to be targeted. My grandfather on my mom's side was not naval intelligence. He was a naval engineer. He was a naval engineer that fought in World War II. But he wasn't very connected. Like when he got out of World War II, he wasn't in the Masons or anything like that. He kind of just went to work for Albemarle. So I just don't feel like that was a big factor in my targeting. But my dad had some dealings with WorldCom, and there was a huge court case because WorldCom was screwing a lot of the investors. The CIA was like angry that WorldCom was taking these certain frequencies that were actually used in this crap that are used in targeting. So I don't know what happened in the WorldCom settlement, but it seems like me and my dad are the worst targeted in my family. So I'm like, was it Oshner or was it the WorldCom thing? So I don't even know. I don't even know. It's like, because you're not told. You're not like, hey, we're going to put a non-consensual implant in you and start you into this program of torturing you and hooking into your brain and doing stuff to your brain. they just don't tell you. So you're left with like, oh, well, there was this incident where it could have been that, and there was this incident where maybe it could have been that, you know. Lynette, beloved daughter of God. Hey, welcome to the chat, Lynette. Our second floor perp neighbors have caused 3 leaks in an area of our kitchen ceiling. We are in the process of filing it with our homeowner's insurance. Yeah, yeah. And you're going to have a lot of neighbors. Like I have a neighbor over there who does noise campaigns and stuff. I don't know if he has any weapons or anything like that. I kind of suspect sometimes that they put transceivers. Some neighbors will take equipment that's not really a weapon firing at you, but it's something to make the frequencies when they're coming in to hit you more powerful, you know, but I'm not sure. You know, I can't say 100% on that. Hey, Messenger of the Cross, man, how you doing, brother? Messenger of the Cross says, me and my dad are also targeted. What up, Vulcan? Nothing much, Messenger. I was ranting. I may need to do more rants, guys, because I'm gonna blow up if I don't. Like, not blow up in a violent way, but if I keep things in too much, I'm gonna get more stressed, and I'm like it's gonna mess up. Like what my attackers are doing stuff to my brain. I'm gonna have to. I mean, y'all know that about me. I never try and convey myself as anything other than I am. And I want y'all to know that about me. When I'm going through Bible verses and positive stuff, I really believe that stuff. I really believe it and I feel it. I'm not just saying it. I'm not just saying it for some reason. Like, I really believe it. But you know, human beings, we're gonna feel positive sometimes, and then sometimes we're gonna be so upset, and we're gonna have to try and get that that anger out and that frustration in the most positive ways that we can. Because you know, we're seeing, and we're not connected to this. The people on this video, the targeted individuals that I know, we're not connected to those mass shootings. You know, those are people who don't come into the targeted individual community. They don't come and try and get help and try and understand things. But you know, bad stuff can happen if you can't get this out, if you have nobody to talk to. And that's what this system is trying to cause, right? It's trying to isolate us, make us feel like we can't tell anybody, psychiatric reprisal, you know, being incarcerated because of this. And so targeted individuals don't feel like they can get help from anybody, they can't talk to anybody, and then really bad stuff ends up happening. So I'm not going to play that game. We need to work within the system to try and get money and all the good stuff that the system has to try and stay stable. But we're going to also have to work a big time outside of the system. The system has completely failed. It's completely failed. YouTube is a joke. Like this is I'm getting this information out to you guys, but YouTube, like channels like Jake Paul and Logan Paul, that's a setup. Like they're endorsed, those channels, they're put in place like that. And that's what YouTube endorses. There's a complete agenda with that, where it's not just a free market of ideas. And even if you do want to talk about some truth that's actually happening in society, you have to watch the words that you say. We are in the hell war that everybody keeps saying, oh, some bad things are about to come. And that in itself is mind control. That in itself, that people are like, oh, well, bad things are going to come, or this technology is on its way, and they're going to come to me with a silver platter with a chip and let me decide if I take it. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's already in all of us. We're all antennas now. Let's see. Lynette says, our condo association said to us that they will pay for the repairs of our perp neighbors, but will not pay for our repairs, which is very unfair and unjust. Yeah, that's just awful. That's awful. Y'all, you should definitely fight the homeowners association on that. We just get too screwed over, like on everything. Hey, Asylum of Ghosts, man, how you doing, man? I haven't talked to you forever. Everybody check out his channel. I think a lot of people already go and watch his channel. Asylum of Ghosts. He makes awesome edited videos about targeted individuals going through this. Okay, let's finish up. Oh man, my attackers are really messing with my head. Mark Williams' speech in front of the BBC. Everybody go like this video and share it far and wide. He spoke very well. He spoke very well, and he summed it up in a very good way.
People have been targeted, and these people have not broken the law. So, we're speaking out to make people aware. These weapons have been developed since the 1950s, and they're actually patents you can see with these weapons on the internet, so you can check this out. All the information is there. You just need to look to find out and research. Help stop the suffering. We have come today. All of these individuals here have been very brave, because each and every one of them is suffering with the effects. This crime typically has two parts. There is a stalking and harassment part, where individuals, ex-military, even ex-police, ex-criminals, people that are part of criminal groups, have been instructed to stalk and harass an individual's life, so the person lives their life in fear and cannot operate under normal circumstances. Also, the second part of the crime is typically with predictive energy weapons, using these remote electromagnetic weapons, and these weapons serve to torture, influence, and devastate a person's life. So be aware of these two methods. It's very likely that you know someone who is actually affected by this. So be very aware. We are speaking out today because we believe that these crimes will spread, and we have information, for example, on stopthecrime.net, which is stating that their intention is to use this technology on the masses. So we are speaking out here today in order to make people aware, so that our children will never have to suffer the same abuses that we have had to suffer at the hands of this. Make yourself aware, research this please, and speak to the people today. There is lots of evidence on the internet. You can even see pictures of these weapons. You can see pictures, you can see videos of these weapons being used. It's all there, it's all going on. But I especially encourage you to look at the work of Dr. Barry Trower.
Okay, that was a really good speech. Just got to get it, and what he was saying is so true. We walk out in our cities and we're passing by gang stalkers and people being targeted alike. And it's under the radar. These people up at the top, they're like, oh man, this is great. This is a weapon that's out of sight, out of mind. We can rip up somebody's mind and make it look like they're doing all the bad stuff when we're like we're mind control them. And then, we can have gang stalkers like totally take away people's rights and terrorize them. But people, they're not going to be wearing a uniform or anything like that. It's just going to be completely covert, and it's going to bubble up under the surface. We can soften the human population up as we want to, and then when we want to start the big evil, then we'll go for that. I don't want to be negative, but it's just, this is a plan. This is a planned thing. This isn't the end all be all, just to experiment and torture on citizens with these neuro weapons. This is supposed to lead to something else. That's why everybody has to know about it, because I think that we do have a good window here where if enough of the public, becomes aware of these horrors, enough people can say no. Like enough people can say no and actually affect it. The yellow vests. Is it the yellow vest? The yellow vests in France. They went out and protested and stuff like that. Reforms got made. Reforms were made for France's economy because of the yellow vest actions. There are changes that are going to be made because of the protests in Hong Kong. I think that's what it's going to take. The rallies are an awesome thing for targeted individuals, but what's going to happen is that not only targeted individuals and everybody else in all of these countries are going to have to start caring, and we're going to have to get out in the street, because that's the only way things are going to change, And until then, we've got to find ways to defend and become more comfortable, because this is a long and ugly process. The ironic nature of needing the torture to stop right away, but having to be patient for this long, ugly process to get better, hopefully. And all I see is that it, you know, I see that it gets more crazy and worse because people kind of just go along with whatever. It has to change. I really worry about the next generation. I mean, look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy, Jake Paul. Like they actually, like there are people on YouTube now. I was looking at it today. They fake pregnancies, they fake marriages, just publicity stunts, and just hundreds of thousands to millions of people that are retarded. Like watch their videos and like, oh, Tana and Jake are getting married, but it's just a publicity stunt. They didn't actually even get married, but they had people paying to go into the chat rooms to see it. And like, targeted individuals are talking about the most important thing in human history, and people are just like, oh, no, that's not fun. It's not fun, and it's not an escape from my life. It's actually something I have to do something about. So it's like we are completely the opposite of our forefathers now, and is come full circle. We got the bread and the circuses, and all that stuff softening us up, and then you know, in the most awful, sophisticated weapons being used on us, and the mind, you know. Okay, let me show you all something also horrible. I hope it'll, let me see. I guess I can check it on my tablet. I hope it switches to the right screen. Let's see if it does. I want to show you this channel. Did that switch it? Let me see. Check it out here. Hey, we're gonna put a non-consensual channel. Did that switch it? No, it didn't switch it. Okay, I'm gonna have to go out, stop the share, and then reshare. Okay, so check this channel out, guys. Transhumania. A week ago, this channel had like 10,000 subscribers. Now it has 22,000. It's growing rapidly. It's growing exponentially, and people love it. People love this channel. You know, and some people may say, well, Kyle, why are you so angry? Why are you so angry? They're telling people about this transhumanism. You know, it's good for people to know about it. It's not good for people to know about it when they're taking everything negative out, like all the people like us whose families are being destroyed, how our minds, psychic driving with V2K, AI, entangling with our brain, and it keeps going, it keeps torturing us psychologically and physically. They leave that out and they say, oh, artificial telepathy is coming. It's just going to pop onto the scene. It's just going to pop onto the scene. It pops. These scientists are so brilliant that they don't even need to mess with the human brain before they come out with a fully completed consumer product or medical advancement. But that's not true. So many dead human beings, not just in America, families that have been, you know, murdered and tortured, you know, left in the wake of this experimentation to get to crap, to get to this transhuman future, to defeat ourselves. Let me show y'all this. So before, I want to say this twice. So with this channel, I've got homework, and I'm going to be doing it too. We need to flood these comment sections with what is happening to us. You're targeted individual, you're being tortured, you got the neuro weapons digging into your brain, putting visuals in your visual cortex, messing with your inner voice and stuff. We need to get on all of these videos that this channel has and tell about the extreme torture, because I want to show you one of these comment sections here. And nothing is talked about the extreme torture and experimentation that's happening to people all over the world. Just the good stuff, just the cool stuff, just, oh, this is coming, this is eventually going to be so cool. And there's no way that it's just one guy. Like the production values and everything, it's a team of people. YouTube is going to endorse this. They're going to endorse it. You're going to see. I want to call it right now. You're going to see that 22,000 subscriber count. It's going to go up to probably like a couple 100,000 at the end of this month. At the end of this month, it'll be like at least 100,000. At least 100,000. It will continue to build because this is part of the plan. We fighting back, fighting for our lives and getting our freedom is not part of the plan. We're just supposed to be sacrificed. Just the people who are picked to be tortured and experimented on, we're just supposed to be sacrificed. And people will ignore us, or worse, they'll hurt us for saying what's happening to us, for saying, hey, I got some crazy neighbor doing noise campaigns and people breaking into my home while I'm being shot with microwave weapons. Oh, that person's crazy. Let's put more injustice on top of them, you know. So let me show you this. But look at a vaccine for future shock. A vaccine for future shock. Well, it sounds like they're pretty much sure what's coming. It sounds like the people who made this channel, they're futurologists. They know the future. They know that this is coming, and they want to get people ready. They want to get people ready for what they already know is coming. What does that sound like? It sounds like freaking predictive programming. I'm very angry with this channel. I mean, not only does YouTube like push us down, which there's some big targeted individual channels. There's some really big documentaries and stuff like that. The Vice video, which kind of talks about us in a positive way. Not really, but it has, you know, it has like, I think, what, 500,000 or maybe a couple of million views now or something like that. I need to check that out. Yeah, David Irwin says cyberpunk stories are always dystopian. I mean, but it doesn't look like what any of those books predicted, you know. It's not going to look like that. It's going to be in a different form, and that's how the people at the top get people to not know that it's here, is they make it just look completely different. People are waiting on this, guys. They're waiting for somebody to come to their door and say, look, we've got this microchip that you need to take, and you get to decide if you take it or not. That's what they're waiting on. Or they're waiting for a big war to happen on the surface where everybody knows who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. And that's not happening. A lot of people that people think are good guys are really, really bad guys. And a lot of people think are bad guys and crazy are really, really good guys and don't have a lot of resources. You know, so it's just not taking the form in movies and in books that people have been propagandized with. But let me show you guys the start of this video. I guess I'm gonna have to go out of it again. But seriously, guys, we need to start infiltrating. We need to start infiltrating these videos and putting in the comments, like, I'm a targeted individual. I have neuroweapons psychically driving me. I'm hooked up to a supercomputer where it's messing with my brain all day. We need to put that in there because I'm going to show you some of these comments. These are people that are not ready and they're interested in stuff when it's not dangerous. The marshmallow brain and no spine, because everybody's spines are gone, you know. I hope I'm not being mean today. I'm just very stressed out. So I'm going to kind of calm down. I'm going to calm down so I can talk about this stuff. Stop sharing that. And then I want to go to, which one was it? Okay, yeah. Okay, this one. So this video from Transhumania, Are We Already Cyborgs? Biohacking, Transhumanism, and Cyborgization. Cyborgization. Life itself confided a secret to me. Behold, it said, I am that which must always overcome itself. Friedrich Nietzsche. So humanity needs to overcome itself. Now, this is the guy that said that God is dead. He said that God is dead. And that's the kind of crap that he said. That's the kind of crap, this guy who said God is dead, that's the kind of crap he said, that humanity needs to defeat itself. He says that's what that basically says. Humanity needs to defeat itself. We need to defeat ourselves. And that's what AI is there for. AI is there to defeat our free will, defeat our evolution, defeat our destiny. That's what it's there for. As a tool, yeah, we could use it. As a tool, yeah, AI could be used. But the way that they're rolling it out and the way that they're hooking it into everybody and they're just opening this Pandora's box without any kind of responsibility, without having that soul evolution that we need to use these tools in the right way, humanity's in. And I think people will think I'm a crazy person. People will just be like, oh, Kyle's crazy. It's humanity's end. If AI is let loose without any controls on it, and with the system, like, I mean, look at what they're doing already without people even knowing how advanced AI is. They're hooking it up to people's heads, and running these remote neural manipulation protocols automatically, automated systems to torture people forever and for it to not stop already. And it's like there's a real long way to go to advancing AI even more. So let's watch a little bit of this. Let's see how he talks about it so y'all can understand how angry I am. Because some of you may be saying, well, he's talking about, and look at the thumbs up on that one, 330 something thumbs up. These, like, I saw this one 2 days ago. It had 2,000 views. YouTube's getting it out there. They're getting it out there. So let's listen to the way that he talks about it. And I'll grab my tablet so I can read some of your guys' chat. I'm just not doing good right now. I had a bunch of stuff hit me before I did the video, and it would have been wiser to kind of wait. But I was like, I kind of want to get the video done, you know, so I'm not stepping on Ella's call. I think that everybody's just going to be getting out a lot of information. So, you know, I don't think I'm going to worry about that. I think that we're all just going to be firing on all cylinders, and we need to do that. But let's watch a little bit of this.
Could we merge with machines, and in doing so, defeat aging? The question of curing aging is one more and more people are asking these days. But technically speaking, there was never such a thing as dying of old age to begin with. 99% of the reasons people die is because one of their important body parts breaks in such a way that it can't.
So listen to how he starts. Not with, is it dangerous to merge with machines? What are the dangers of it? No. He starts with eternal life. Humans age. Mixing man and machine can lengthen the lifespan. Immortality, right? Let's bypass all the people being tortured. Let's bypass how irresponsible human beings are and how they've already are misusing this technology the most that you can. The amazing miracle of transhumanism. BS. And it's called black propaganda. Anything that's bad for humanity, but it looks good, it's black propaganda, you know. Hey, Wayne, man, how you doing? Hey, Samuel. Wayne Moore says, hey, guys, I agree this is the end unless we all wake up fast. Yeah. Asylum Ghost says the hour is late. We're way past the Orwell novel 1984. Your brains and thoughts are being read. AI can hear what you hear, see what you see. Yeah, Asylum Ghost. The problem is that it doesn't look like the book 1984. It doesn't. Nobody, Big Brother isn't popping up on a screen. Well, mainstream media, yeah, but it's just it looks different. It looks different. People are waiting on something it's coming in a different form. It's happening in a different form, and we've got to be smart enough. Targeted individuals already know it, but people who are not targeted directly, like targeted 24 hours a day with a team and on automated computer. And I don't know how many people who don't know still are hooked up to quantum computers, but yeah, got to wake up to it. May not look like what we think. It may not look like what we think because it's already happening. People are already being murdered in their homes, and it's that serious. Like people, the problem is that people will see this video and they'll say, oh man, he's off of his meds or he's mentally ill. And it's that serious. This is a war every day for a big percentage of the population of the world being harassed and terrorized while being microwaved, while their mind is being like things put into their mind, white hot anger, anxiety, things to rip them down while their bodies are being tortured. It's that serious. It's a war. It is a war, but it's covered up, flies under the radar. That's why these people are going out to the rallies. That's why I need to get to the next one. Asylum Go says the technology could be used for incredible medical advances, but they're never going to use it that way. That's a cheap selling point to get people to accept it. Yeah, so they're going to have good medical advances. That's going to happen. People are going to have their limbs. They're going to have their limbs. They're going to be able to probably correct Alzheimer's and correct Parkinson's, right? There are going to be medical advances that come out, that trickle out. But how many people are going to get Parkinson's, are going to get cancer, are going to be killed, who are going to commit suicide and stuff like that to get there? And then they're going to have built it up so, oh, those medical advances are out and those consumer products are out, but we've got more knowledge to have more advanced weapons and to stay further ahead of the normal public, right? The top of the pyramid, the military, they'll stay, the gap, right? The gap is going to get more and more, and it's not even going to be just about these mind control technologies and these neuroweapons. There's going to be other things that they're learning from this, so they can rule the world. They already control the world pretty much. You can't go anywhere and get away from them if you're being tortured, but they're going to try and get that gap wider and wider, so that there's an upper class and then there's a lower chattel. Chattel rhymes with cattel, you know, ironically. Asango says, this is torture technology for sure. Don't be fooled. Yeah, it sure is. I want to. Slack Ti says, just watch. Hey, Stacy Robles, just watch your last video. Made me remember and long for when I was getting sleep deprivation. I started using it to my advantage. So the program switched it up to force sleep too much. And I want to tell y'all, please check out S. Robles' channel. She's in the chat and she just made a new video. You know, she's trying some defenses and stuff. It's you know, it's still, I think it's still tough for her, but you know, she's really trying to, you know, get some good defenses. It's just this is a nightmare. But I love her videos. Her videos really inspire me a lot. You know, because we're all just fighting this as hard as we can. Yeah, I love you, Stacy. Okay, let's play a little bit more of this. I just want to show y'all kind of the way that that he talks about this, because it's just so, like, he just makes it positive. They don't go into anything negative.
Replaced. The older we get, the more damaged and fragile an organ eventually becomes, beginning a chain reaction that inevitably kills our body. The answer is yes. It is a likely possibility that we might be able to stop aging, or at least delay it within this century. A group of thinkers who call themselves transhumanists.
Okay, so a group of people called transhumanists. Now, what I call them is retarded. Like, they are retards. They're retards. Their brains don't work, so they don't understand how dangerous it is for people who at the top want to kill human beings and control them, to have these technologies implanted in us. Like, if there's a backdoor on your computer, if there's a backdoor on your Microsoft computer, your Apple computer, that people can hack into it and do whatever they want, you don't think they're going to put a backdoor into that Neuralase? And you know, that's just the surface, right? We have Morgellons and nanotechnology in us that they can just tap in wirelessly. You don't even have to have a non-consensual implant. Having a non-consensual implant can intensify the torture, right? But you don't even have to have that. Human beings, just from their unique brainwave signature, but all these other catalysts too, can just be hooked into wirelessly. So, I mean, these devices that they're going to be putting out on the consumer market, you know, it'll add to it, right? They'll have these things to add to it, but people can already be tapped into, and people have no clue about that. We're going to see some of these comments. This isn't the video where I saw the comments that made me angry, but I'm still going to show some of these.
Do is continuously replace our meat bag parts.
Yeah, Stacy, really love you. I just, man, all you guys who are hurting really bad. I mean, y'all are fighters. We're fighters, right? But it almost frustrates me more, you know, when other people are hurting, because, like, when I'm hurting, I know the level that I'm hurting at. I'm like, okay, I'm at this level, and then I'm dealing with it with offenses. But then it's like I talk to other targeted individuals, and they're hurting, and it's just like, I don't know how much I don't know, you know, it's very frustrating. And that's a thing that I'm going to talk to Dr. Hoffer about. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous that targeted individuals that are trying to survive and trying things, we're all that we have. We're all the help that each other have. And that we, you know, that doctors will put us into mental institutions and punish us for trying to get help. That has to be changed. And I'm just hoping and praying that Dr. Hoffer can be a doctor who writes medical papers. I hope that he was hired by the State Department. And I hope the State Department's going to really start questioning this. There's going to be Senate investigative committees. I hope it's going to be a big mess worldwide. I hope it's going to be a big mess, and the mainstream media is just going to be forced to report it at some point, because like people will stop trusting the mainstream media forever, and you know they only trust them to a certain percentage now. But if they don't report something that's so serious, you know, that we just need to stop listening to mainstream media whatsoever, which I've already done and a lot of you guys have done. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I feel like some targeted individuals, they kind of get themselves to a comfortable place and they're like, well, I'm just going to go live my life. I can't do that. There's too many of you guys suffering. So I'm just going to take the stress. People are too important to me, and like I'm hurting too. So people pick me up too all the time. Like targeted individuals that I help, they end up helping me when I'm in really low positions. And this is just, you know, this is what God put me here for. So I've thought about it sometimes. I'm like, well, I can get myself to a defensive level where it's maintainable, and then I may need to kind of get out of, because this is all, it's very stressful, you know, and you know, I may disconnect sometimes just to meditate and stuff, but you guys are so important to me. So important. Like I've met some of y'all, and other people don't understand. Like people who are not targeted individuals and don't have electromagnetic frequencies like not creeping into the mind, but like, you know, really affecting my attackers are really shutting down my brain right now. Oh, okay, well, I'm talking about exactly what I was trying to say, like affecting, stimulating, hurting, or God, I can't remember or stopping a certain part of the mind. Like, and it's the worst injustice and rape in human history. My attackers are like really trying to shut my brain down. I guess. Well, I'm you know, I'm just gonna be angry. That's because that's what they've been doing. You know, and I don't talk about it a lot, but that's, you know, have you ever seen Jose Delgado with that bull? I've talked about it a little bit. I was very angry in the beginning, in the first couple of years, and my attackers shut down my adrenaline, and they try and make me more passive, so that maybe other targeted individuals won't listen to me. I'll be too calm and stuff like that, and I've tried to utilize that against them, but they hate it when I'm angry because I get shit done when I'm angry, and I'm gonna, like, and I'm very angry, and too many people are hurting, and I'm hurting myself, and I'm sitting there with my dad. My dad's telling me, I just saw another death by vaping. I just wanted to tell you about it. I'm like, Dad, dude, the DOD is murdering people. The DOD is mind controlling people, causing mass shootings, murdering people in their homes. And you're telling me about a vape? The vape is dangerous. Like, we got to get our priorities right. You know, we got to get our priorities right. It's just, I'm not doing good today, guys. It's not good. It's not good. But God will turn ashes into beauty. So, and I know He's there, and I know miracles happen. I've experienced a lot of them, but I love you guys so much. Yeah, Asylum Ghost says the program landed me on the street, homeless, broke, and with everyone in family deceased except me. I had to pull myself together just to survive. Yeah, it's like Asylum. I feel like every day I have to pull myself together. You know, it's become a little in a holding pattern, but it's like still sometimes it's like I feel like I've lost my mind, and I have to pull my mind and everything back together in the danger that it, you know, you can have a split. That hasn't happened to me. Like I'm probably, you know, I think we're all a little bit when you're facing trauma like this, you get a little bit, not like bipolar, not clinical bipolar disorder, but perceptual bipolar disorder, you know, and I always have to pull myself back together. Diana says, I get really upset too, knowing my parents are being hit. I do think he might be onto something with the vape, but we all have our ways of coping. Your dad just loves you and your lungs. Yeah, yeah, Diana, and I understand that, but it's just like, it really makes me mad when it's like, oh, and that's how my dad is. He's like dealing with the little things in life, like, hey, I need to come help you change your air conditioner filter and all this. And I'm like, oh, I'm being murdered in my home, Dad. You're being targeted, with neuroweapons after they almost killed you. We're not talking about that. We're not dealing with that. And I feel like that is a zeitgeist for the human population of the world. We're all distracted in dealing with things that don't matter. And these huge things they're not just looming on the horizon, they're eating us alive, but they could get worse. They will get worse if everybody doesn't wake up and start protesting this stuff and start saying no. Channels like this makes it hard because they just show the cool stuff about it, and then you get the dummy dumbs lining up to get the newest mind reading headset or the newest lace device whenever they make, where there's something easier than that, right? When they scale down the technology and make it easier, but then you already got, everybody already has this stuff that can be tapped into. It's just it's the art of war. I mean, the people at the top of the pyramid are using the art of war. They said they looked at all these things in the past, like they looked at Mao Zedong's China, they looked at the Russian Revolution, they looked at what Hitler did in World War II, and all these other things that happened, a lot of genocides that happened in Africa. And since people could see them, right, when people can see atrocity, there after a time, there's this backlash of good. It's still going to happen here because this is just a technology, and we can still see it. We can still, get measurements of it and everything like that. But they've had a long time of people just ignoring that this exists, and that's how they want to wage war. They're like, oh, well, people took Hitler down, because they saw the concentration camps or anything like that. Well, we can just torture people in their home and make them look crazy and just completely trick everybody so that we can keep this war going. Pump people into mental institutions, pump people into prisons, pump pharmaceuticals into people and research on them more, and just use the whole population of the world as a petri dish and as cattle, to build up these huge industry / military / corporations. Cole Pinter says, when I get landed in the hospital over and over again, I'm also abused in the hospital. Yeah, it never ends, Cole. Yeah. Diana says, I know, I hear you. Minutia is silly in relationship to dealing with the bigger issues. I agree with you, Kyle. I have a similar rash to the one Midge had showing up on my neck right now, burning. And Diana, get that on video. Get that. You may not want to put it out now, but just make sure you get that evidence. Because if you're ever going to talk to the cops or the FBI or, whoever we're going to talk to, doctors, you want to have that as evidence. So even if you don't want to show it to people now, please get that as evidence. That's huge evidence. Jennifer says, Cole, they also did skits on me in the hospital. Yeah, they had the psychiatrist that I first was given when I was put into the short-term behavioral center. She was pretty nice, and she didn't really know what was going on. She went on vacation. She went on vacation the day after I got in there, and a pediatric psychiatrist who smiled at me the whole time, and he knew what was going on. He was assigned to me. So it's incredible the lengths that they go to cover this up, and not just to cover it up or ignore it. It's not just covering up or ignore, it's participating in it. I mean, we have doctors and psychiatrists that are participating in this stuff like Nazis in Nazi Germany. I wish I had a better example than that. It seems to be the example that I go to, but there's been a lot of times in history where people have gone insane and started doing the wrong thing. And it seems like our founding fathers kind of knew how stupid people were, and they said, hey, we're going to create this constitution and complicated laws to trick you guys into being free. And it seems like there's a lot of everyday work and a master plan to rip that down. Our forefathers were very intelligent. I don't know how they made what they did, but I know I took it for granted. Living in this now, I know that I took that for granted when I was a kid and when I was a teenager. I was probably already being experimented on by the time I was 12, though. So I just thought that I was free, right? And this stuff gets so complicated to talk about because it's like, were we ever free? You know, as a kid, do you just think you're free? And then everybody grows up and finds out how horrible the world is. Is that just how life is? I don't think it's this extreme, right? I don't think it's been this extreme throughout history. And I know there's a little bit of a disillusionment phase. I mean, this seems like a disillusionment nightmare, you know, that never ends year after year. Rick M says, wow, Lisa, that was a courageous move. I'm so untrusting of meds, but I do not comment on usage because I suppose some people are actually helped. Yeah, I have to, like, the mind control is so, my attackers are hooked in such a way that that the Ativan really does help. It's even helping me to express myself better because when I don't take it, and I'm doing some other things too, but I've noticed, like, when I stop taking it, it's not just anxiety. My attackers are doing something to my brain where I feel like I don't even want to talk to people because I'm flat. I feel flat, and it's mind control. It is the remote neural manipulation. You know, so I've got to use this. I've got to use a little bit of lorazepam, 0.5 milligrams, and it makes much more of a difference than just relieving stress. Just if I was an anxious person, it would relieve some of that. But it's like it's sliding the hooks off of this remote neural manipulation. I'm going to talk to Dr. Hoffer about that too. What I'm hoping, this is one thing, guys, with Dr. Hoffer, he might know of a medication that can somehow make it very difficult for the remote neural manipulation to neuronally connect with our brain. There might be something, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know what that would be, but he knows this stuff and he knows what it's doing. So there might be some kind of like neurological med that could help us, but that's going to be tough too. I mean, I would try it, but like, you know, if I tell other targeted individuals about that, they'll be like, oh, that's a trick and that's going to make it worse or whatever. So, you know, that's a huge mess. But hopefully, yeah, Stacy says, I know exactly that flat feeling they give. Yeah, it's like where I get on video sometimes and I want to express myself and I'm angry, but my brain is just so locked down, like so locked down with neuro weapons that I'm just like, hey guys. And then in what normal people see that as is they're like, oh, that's mental illness, because there are mental illnesses that make you seem flat. And what do we know about this program, right? To hide it, they want to make it mimic mental illness as much as they can. That is a specific protocol from before they started targeting people. They were that was a concern. We need to make this look like mental illness to protect it, to protect the evil that we're doing, you know. Yeah, it's horrible. Like the mind stuff, if they left my mind alone and it was just body torture, I think I'd be in a much better state. You know, even with the V2K, if they did not mess with my emotions and certain areas of the brain, like deep brain stimulation, the frontal lobe, your endocrine system, probably the pineal gland too. And we've got to learn more. I gotta get help from Dr. Hoffer and some doctors. I wish that like some targeted individuals that saw Dr. Hoffer did come out and talk about it. I wish more would come out, but I just think some, and I'm not judging this. I think some targeted individuals, they just want to get help for their situation and then, live as peaceful of a life as they can. They're not really going to talk about things that are helping them and stuff like that. I don't know what to think about that because that's the only way that we're ever going to stop the end of humanity. So I see it in that way, but I think some people are just like, well, I just want to, I just want to make it as good as I can and live out my life as good as I can. And that's a valid thing. That's a valid thing. And I don't think I would judge any targeted individual for what they did in this, unless it's, I wouldn't even judge that really. I really don't judge any targeted individuals. It's so crazy. It's just like being fired on with weapons while your brain's being twisted and your family's being murdered. So I really don't judge anything, but anything, I'd rather see targeted individuals do crazy positive things, speak out, like it can really help. Like this video has just helped me, kind of ranting and stuff. And I need to get the panel. I need to get some panels going and stuff so you guys can get things out. We can promote y'all's channels and stuff like that. There's some things that I'll kind of come across and I really want to go through them. Let's go through a little bit more of this and then I want to go through the comments.
Repairable robotic analogs. Transhumanism blurs the very lines between what we would and wouldn't consider biological, giving us an entirely abiotic perspective on life. It's a transition we are in the midst of right now. The rules in the game of life are changing, and so are the players. Transhumanism, or transitory humanism, is a term coined by renowned evolutionary biologist Julian Huxley, and it refers to humanity's change from evolution by natural selection to evolution by intelligent direction. People who embody this bridge between biotic and abiotic are called transitory humans.
Transitory humans.
Transitory humans are not.
I want to read this Asylum of Ghosts chat. You're not really alone anymore. We have a bunch of people who understand you. That's why I started making videos back then. We didn't have a group. Nobody really knew or talked about it. And that's very positive. And that's awesome, Asylum of Ghosts. That's awesome. Thank you for putting that in chat. So many groups are building up. I think maybe PAX was around. Like when me and Asylum of Ghosts were making videos like 5 or 6 years ago, PAX was really the only group. But now there are groups spawning up everywhere. Not spawning is like hell spawn, blossoming up because they're good things, So there's a lot of hope. When I'm gonna rant sometimes, I gotta find a way to release the valve. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna have to exercise more, and y'all may hear some rants, but there's really positive stuff going on. That we have more hope, and there's more people that understand, and even people who are not TIs are understanding more. This is just a mess. I think it's a mess, and I really do believe in that saying, it's always darkest before the dawn. Like things in society, it's like, oh, they're good. Oh, real bad, and then, and then there's some kind of release. And I think that we're like this point. It's going up, it's getting bad, but then like, boom, then it balances out again. And I just hope that a lot of people don't die. They already are. So I'm saying it's mind control even to me, because human beings, we deal with our own situations. We're coming from our own angle, and I'm like, well, I just hope a lot of people don't. But a lot of people have already died in mass shootings. Target individuals have already committed suicide. They've already been killed. Their heart stopped and everything like that. Whistleblowers have been killed. I mean, we've already lost so many good people in our world. But I feel like things are going to have to, I'm going to stop saying that. I'm going to stop calling people idiots in society. That's bad. The people who are ignorant of everything, that's a good way, huh? They just don't know anything. It's going to take stuff being right in their face. Like right in their, like latched on to like those alien face huggers and Aliens. It's going to take an alien face hugger, not literally, but like the situation is going to have to get that bad where it's like hooked to somebody's face, and they're like, I got this hooked to my face. It exists. It's happening. That's what it's going to take for some people, because some people, they have semi-comfortable lives, and they don't want to let go of that, and they don't want to say, oh, there's bad stuff in society, because then I'll have to change my whole paradigm. So they'll go, oh, no, those people are crazy. They're talking about targeting and torture, and then like after they find out that like it's really, oh no, those people deserve it, or it's the authorities know what they're doing, and then it just keeps going until it's just like, oh wait, no, the authorities are evil. They're doing this for evil reason. Okay, I can't deny it. It's hugging my face. It's hugging my face. It's hugging my face. I gotta get it off, Major, welcome to the chat. Major says, I think some of the neuro weapons are rife frequencies and can be installed in your home by mafia contractors. Yet, Major, I think that the deal is, and this is what I've learned in my kind of research of this, there's many layers. These directed energy weapon integrated weapon systems, They have many layers. So one layer that I found out is an electromagnetic field around the head with a bidirectional stream of ultrasound or infrasound, maybe mixed with electromagnetic frequencies, but that's only one angle. There's like a whole bag of tricks and a whole layer of things that they can do to us. So what you're saying is probably true about the Rife frequencies, but I would think that it's not installed in your home by mafia contractors. They can do all of this stuff remotely. They can do all of this stuff wirelessly. So they can shoot something like, they could shoot probably infrasound and Rife frequencies mixed together through an electromagnetic field that's being placed around your head to interact with your brain, to interact with regions of your brain. And I need to show that MIT article again. You know, but there are ground weapons. There are ground weapons, but my experiences and my research show that they're used very far. They're very far and what's the saying? I can't even remember the saying. Few and far between. Like they may be used as supplement or as a psyop to make you think that's what it is. Like, because my neighbor, my ex-Army neighbor, had one in his window, and I was supposed to see that. So then I attributed everything that was going on to his home. I was supposed to see it. So I think ground weapons are used in a lot of ways like that, but the 24-hour-a-day torture, most of it is probably going to be wireless. I know a lot of target individuals are getting angry. You could probably give me a thumbs down for just that one statement there, because y'all are like, I got people above me and they're pointing the weapons at me. It gets a little bit tricky. It gets a little bit tricky where you might have a neighbor that's doing a noise campaign and not shooting weapons at you, but your attackers are making it seem like it's like noises from them are actually the weapon. So it gets kind of tricky. You could be right. You could be right. It does exist. But if every target individual situation were ground weapons from your neighbors, this would be out by now. They have wireless capabilities. They use those so they can hide it better. You know, and I'm keeping, you know, this is like one of the, and you know, I don't know everything, guys. I'm just talking about my situation. That's how I see it, because my attackers will make sounds. There's nobody that lives above me, but they want me to think that somebody above me is shooting the weapon. So it's actually a protocol. So just keep that in mind, but there are ground weapons and there are situations where ground weapons are used. And see this guy on the screen right now, it's like he is disabled and is missing his leg. Some of these medical advancements can really help him to feel again, right? But how many people are being murdered so that people can have limbs that they can feel, right? It's not, you can't just have, you could have people that volunteer for that kind of stuff, but when you're just experimenting on, you know, random people, it's not a trade-off. It's not fair that my attacker's gonna try and give me Alzheimer's and give me Parkinson's and give me cancer so that like somebody who's maybe richer than me can pay for some kind of very expensive treatment, right? I mean, that's a corporation that's just like, well, we can kill all these people, and then we're gonna make money off of the people who want the technological advancements, right? Have you guys ever seen Elysium? Have y'all seen that movie? I mean, I'm kind of heading that way. I may talk about that movie in the future.
Entirely biological, but also, unlike post-humans, they are not entirely mechanical either. Transhumans exist somewhere in between our natural selection-driven primate ancestors and entirely digital post-human beings merging with artificial intelligence. With that said, transhumans actually do exist on our planet today, albeit in very small numbers.
That drunk ninja said, transhuman, I don't swing that way. That's funny. Yeah, I don't swing that way either. Diana said, I made a nerdy video suggesting a TI Renaissance. I think that's a good idea. Diana said, Michael Barden has a pretty enlightening flowchart. I got to check that out. He's been making some videos recently. Everybody's been doing such a good job just trying to get it out. Major says, won't do any good to complain about the government to the government. Complain about the criminals. Well, yeah, I kind of agree, Major, but I kind of think that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, and we can make a mess. Like, we can make a real big mess if we start getting some government agencies that don't know their buttholes from a hole in the ground, and they don't know what's going on. If we can get them jacked up and lathered up, like, hey, and then the State Department and certain governmental agencies are looking into this, and then certain agencies are trying to cover it up, we could make a huge mess, not just in America, but every other country. And that's what we're trying to do. Get the good doctors, the good governmental workers and everything sniffing this way. You get the bad guys trying to hide it this way, and it's going to be a huge mess. And that's going to be good, because in the mess, they can't, just do whatever they want so efficiently. The problem is, like, you got DHS fusion centers, and you got these the DOD, the governmental contractors. They have more money, so they can bribe people. So if there's like a government official or something that wants to sniff around about this, well, he can either be targeted, his family can be threatened, or he can just be bribed. You see, that's the problem. The resources, they've got the resources. So we're going to have to be very clever, and everybody is being very clever. It's just we're going through the process right now. Oh, that's really nice, Stacy. You said, Lynette, beloved daughter of God, no problem. I'm here if you need me. Yeah, we just got to be here for each other, guys. And sometimes it's like, this is one thing I kind of want to get out to everybody. I want to fix things. Like, this is so bad that I want to fix it. Right? That's how my grandpa was. It's how my dad is. It's how both of my it's how my whole family is. They want to fix things. And sometimes you might not be able to fix things for another target individual. You can give them solutions and stuff, but they're in their fight. And that drives me. I'm dealing with it. I'm finding ways to deal with it, but I'm just like, instead of just listening to somebody, which is sometimes what a targeted individual wants, they just want you to listen about how bad it is. I'm like, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. Sometimes that's not the right move. If you're trying to help other targeted individuals, sometimes you just got to listen. You got to listen, and then maybe another time you go through how do we fix this, right? Because with how bad this is, sometimes the target individual just needs to get it out. And that's why I think we need to become more comfortable, with getting on YouTube, with social media and stuff like that, so we can have more nodes of communication. I think our perception needs to change. Mine does too. Because like, I get on a video like this and I'm like, oh, well, I got to present myself well, but I'm a mess. My head's mess. I'm getting remote neural monitored. It's the break-ins, hit with directed energy. You guys understand that, but we have this perception where these healthy people, physically healthy people on YouTube, they look good. They have nice clothes, and they're good looking. Jake Paul, I think he's ugly. I think Jake Paul is ugly. I think they look like aliens or something. I know they're not aliens, like him and his brother, Jake and Logan Paul. But we get this perception, like, when you're going to present yourself, that you need to be feeling energetic and looking good and things like that. Sometimes we're not going to be able to do that. And we've got to just use these social media outlets while they're here, because there's so much tyranny and censorship. Like, I mean, that's what I was saying 6 years ago. I was like, we got to use these while they're here, because it's already changed. You can't say certain words, certain things that were easier to get out on YouTube. There's no way those channels die off if they cuss, if they even cuss or something like that. So we've got to find ways to perceptually become more comfortable with telling people about what's happening. This is happening to us. This is murder. We have a right. We have a right to speak out about it. We cannot feel, and I know, like, even for me too, like, I've been speaking out it so long, and the reaction I get is so negative that it conditions me to be like, oh, well, I've got to do it a certain way. Sometimes when you're being murdered and tortured and your brain's being tortured, we've just got to find better ways to feel comfortable about telling people about it, because it's a war. You know what I'm saying? I know it's hard, but Asylum of Ghost says, I really hate they started doing this to everyone, attacking people in mass with wireless technology and microwave weapons. Asylum Ghost, I guess I won't ask you that question. I was going to ask you, how many people do you think everybody in the world is remote neural monitored? Like, everybody in America, everybody in every country, do you think they've got it now and got the Morgellons, the nanotechnology? Do you think everybody's brain is hooked into, and only people like us are really they're directly targeting with like integrated weapon systems, but they have everybody kind of tethered to supercomputers. Do you think that's happened? It sounds so crazy. I think about it, and I'm like, I know there's like mass signals that they're putting out over cities and communities to mess with people's minds, but I'm just like, is everybody tethered to supercomputers on the Earth? Like, has that happened? And I'm like, no, that can't have happened because that's too crazy. It's too left field. But then I'm like, yeah. What do you think about that, Asylum? Yeah, Stacy says they will definitely be judged for their evil one day. God is on our side. I totally believe that. I think that our attackers already live such horrible lives. Like, they may have stuff, but that seems to be the thing that's happening nowadays. These soulless people, they get a lot of stuff and they're never happy, and they think they're going to be happy with a lot of money and stuff. But if you're doing immoral things, you can't be happy, you know. Drunken Ninja says, some aspects of transhumanism can be good. Imagine everyone with a 150 IQ, the world will advance over 100 years in a short lifetime. Yeah, there's good stuff that comes out of this, definitely, like the medical advancements, but you cannot just randomly kill people and torture people and take away their destinies for that. There are better ways. There are other ways to get these positive things out of this tool. The tool that is neuroweapons, tool that is directed energy weapons. Still, a knife is a good tool. You can cut a lot of vegetables with it, right? A knife is a really good tool. A lot of good things come out of having a knife. You can cut an orange and eat it. You can get into something that's locked or something like that, but you can also stab somebody to death. And I'm not saying I'm going to stab somebody to death. I'm saying every tool is dual-edged. Every tool, and there's a way to use this right and to maybe make people smarter. But we got to make sure before that happens, you can't have a shadow government, and you can't have the top of the pyramid that nobody knows about that's controlling the world, controlling a technology like this. It would have to be, the public would have to be in control of it, which they're not. So all these new advances are going to come out, all these consumer products, and guess who's going to have the immediate back doors to this technology and these medical advancements? Even these, like, cybernetic arms and legs from people who are disabled, they're connected neurologically. What if the person has Morgellons or a non-consensual implant or something like that, and they're around some kind of situation where the Department of Defense or the CIA or something like that wants them to grab somebody or hurt somebody or do something bad, they could start controlling people's limbs at this point. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So there's advancements that are good, but it has to be done in the right way, or you get amazing tragedy. Not amazing because amazing is good. You get ultimate tragedy, you know. Jen says, most in government probably don't know about these black budget projects. That's what I think too. That's what I think too. Okay, let's go through this, guys. I could sit here and read y'all's comments all day. And we're gonna do that. We're gonna do some videos where we just hang out. Let me get through this. I wanted to show y'all some of the comments for this Transhumania. Y'all are so smart. Like, I have so many really intelligent targeted individuals. And the thing is, like, if somebody who's not a targeted individual comes to this channel and watches my videos, maybe I'll be ranting and they'll say Kyle's crazy, but they'll look at y'all's comments of the smart targeted individuals in my comment section, and they'll be like, wow, so many people are saying the same thing. So it's a very good thing. Y'all's comments are so appreciated. Just your support is just so appreciated. But, you know, I want us all to have channels and stuff like that, like Asylum, Ghost, Healthy Living, and other things, and probably a lot more people in chat, so we can all just support each other. We can all be these nodes of communication. Let's go to some of these comments, because y'all kind of know the plot, right? They're just saying, oh, look at all these great things we can do.
Philosophers have started to argue that a small fraction of humans alive today are literally symbiotic with their technology, mainly their medical implants. Furthermore, gene therapy patients can be construed as being the first humans to have their evolution entirely directed by technology.
You see, You see,
Colloquial.
this is the thing, guys. It's a good idea. It's a good idea for humans to start deciding their own evolution. I agree. I do that in my life. I don't do it with transhumanism, but I say I have a consciousness, right? And I want to go this way. I want to become this. And your adaptation, your evolution with God involved in that, you can do much greater things. So it's a good idea with technology to strengthen human evolution, right? But it has to be done in the right way. If it becomes out of control, this technology takes over, and we no longer control any of that. The technology, the AI is in control. The systems that have been built, right? These out of control infrastructures. These out of control infrastructures will decide what they want humanity to be, not the individual. You have to have, the individual has to have freedom to decide what they want to be, to have a world, to have human evolution. It has to be like that. Anything else where the top of the pyramid decides what people are going to think and how they're going to evolve and what they're going to like and what they're going to dislike, that's the end of evolution. Individual free will. It is from God. Like, I'm getting crazy on this. I'm getting very crazy on this point because I know it to be true. God speaks it to my heart. Free will is the key to humanity progressing. Free will is the key to that. In this technology, this mind control, these neuroweapons, it just smashes that all, you know. And people, you know, sometimes people say, why did God do this to us? God had nothing to do with this. The universe works on free will, and evil men use their free will to cause this tragedy. There's going to be some advancements, some good things from it, tiny little percentage, and then the rest is going to be to the detriment of mankind. And without free will, we can't evolve. So it's very important. I want to play a little bit more of it, and then I'm going to go through some of the comments. Maybe there's some good, maybe some people got in there and left some good ones while I was kind of, because I looked at these like a couple of days ago.
Who are essentially the poster child for transhumanist ideology. According to transhumanists, cyborgs are the next inevitable stage of our evolution. But what actually is a cyborg? The term cyborg comes from
Okay, this one, let me go to the other one. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. And then we're going to go to this one, the one on Neuralink. We're gonna read some of the comments on this one. Neuralink and brain-to-computer interfaces. My main point on this, I know I've ranted like the whole video, so I didn't really get done what I wanted to get. The only thing that I got done that I really wanted to get done was reading y'all's comments and showing Mark's YouTube page. So remember to go to Mark Williams on YouTube, give this a thumbs up, and subscribe to his channel. I'm gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to stop sharing. My screen sharing's not. It doesn't do right. Like when I switch the screen, it won't switch over to it. And I think my attackers are just kind of messing with all of my stuff. I gotta calm down too. Yeah, let's go to this one. Neuralink and brain-to-computer interfaces. But the bottom line here is this. It's and I just forgot the bottom line. The bottom line is that people, look, you got 20,000 views on this. It was like it got 15,000 views in like a week, and it's going to keep exponentially growing. And people are excited about this stuff. But what do they think in their heads? What do they think about targeted individuals that are saying, hey, we're being hit with neuroweapons? There's mind control out there. Mass shootings are being, being caused by mind control. Like, families are being mind controlled to hurt each other and stuff like that. Like, if not physically, emotionally, people are being tortured. Their bodies are being traumatized and tortured forever to mess with their brains and change their personalities and their behavior. What do these people who think that do they think that Neuralink just popped up out of nowhere? Like that Elon Musk just out of nowhere. Elon Musk is just a genius, and theoretically figured out how to connect this stuff to the human brain. That's been decades of experimentation on human beings' minds and their nervous system. This stuff just didn't come out of nowhere, and people have to know that. They can't just be like, oh, well, this is great. It just seems like people literally think it's, they don't even think about all the people who have been experimented on to do this. Do they think it was just the experimentation is just done to animals and monkeys? You know, they have to know that there's widespread mind control in neuroweapons experimentation, in operational directed energy weapon attacks to people, in operational direct, like HARP weaponry for the targeted individual angle. But there's so many things that they do with HARP weaponry, directed energy weapons, and stuff like that. So let's watch a little bit of this one. I want to read some of the comments that that I got really pissed off at.
At some point in your life, you might have heard the phrase, you can do anything you put your mind to. But if we took that literally, just how far can we go? What if we could one day have the technology to literally move objects with our minds?
What if one day we just had the technology that we could move things with our minds? What if one day we just had that technology? Y'all see what I'm saying? What if one day we just poof, out of thin air? What are they talking about? So many people are being killed and experimented on for crap that we don't need, And they're just like, one day, oh, just one day we're going to have this technology. So many people are being slaughtered and their minds are being controlled, which is worse than slaughtering their bodies for some kid in 10 years to move a little ball with his head. Like, I mean, there's going to be other stuff too. This doesn't come from nowhere. That's my bottom line. I know that you targeted individuals in chat. You get this stuff. They want a neuro society, the top of the pyramid and all this, the system. I would just say the system, the out of control system wants a neuro society so they can have better control over people's thoughts and their actions. I mean, that's a bottom line of it. You watch a video like this and it speaks in these terms of how far can we go? All the good stuff. How far can we go with the good stuff? And they leave out all the people being tortured for crap like this, for technology like this, lives destroyed, destinies. You know, and I have to say I'm blessed in my situation. My destiny hasn't been taken. As a matter of fact, I think what's happening feeds in to what God wants for my life in some ironic way. And I think we all, as targeted individuals, need to start connecting with God and finding out what He wants our life to be with this in it. But it seems like a lot of destinies have been destroyed and are being destroyed, and people feel like their lives are destroyed and their minds are destroyed, you know, for this technology. And for these people to just say, what if Elon Musk just you know, gets a napkin when he's drinking at the bar and just you know, writes down the formula for a Neuralink? What if he just you know, what if he just does that? What if he just drinks the right kind of drink? It's like he's drinking like a rum and coke, right? He's drinking a rum and coke, and it's just like the perfect level for his brain to figure out the Neuralink and how it would go with the mind. It's all just theory, and then boom, you get one human and then it works. That's not how it works. Dead bodies, a trail of piles of dead bodies are involved in making this shit technology that nobody needs, that the human race is not ready for. The human race is not responsible enough. It's not grown up enough to deal with mind control. And we see it. We see it in every community. It just makes me super angry.
This is the fabled idea of telekinesis.
So let me say it again for people who maybe came into chat late. I have homework for all of us. We need to go to this channel. This channel is going to be growing very fast. I'm calling it now. This is propaganda. This is black propaganda. YouTube's gonna send it up in the algorithms. This is what they're doing with YouTube now. Instead of just independent creators, they have all these kind of psyops and crap like that, where they're trying to get people ready for the things that they want them to be ready for, the things that are part of the master plan. And this is one of those channels. And I'm going to go ahead and say that with a certainty. I know I kind of backtrack on some things. I'm like, well, maybe it's just some guy who's interested in it. No. Now I've watched this thing, and this is planned. This is propaganda. And they're trying to say all the great things about it so that they can get people ready to accept it with open arms. And that's what we all know, that happens. This is an example of it. This is a tiny example of that propaganda so that people accept their deaths. I mean, that's the only way I can say it. Maybe they won't die, but they won't have their mind. They won't be able to decide anything, and they won't really be human without their free will, you know? This is not some independent thing where every individual gets to control their level of interconnection with the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is controlled by a systematic pyramid that can tap into computers, phones, people already. It's not that people will be able to be tapped into in the future. People are already being hooked into and tortured. When they get the hardware and consumer products out there, it's going to be worse. It's going to be worse. I just got to calm down. Like, this is what it is.
There's also the idea of telepathy. Could we one day have the technology to read each other's minds? In some sense, our minds already kind of do both of those things. It's just a matter of how effectively they can do them.
Where does it come from? Where does it come from? Tell us where it comes from. Upgrading minds, Neuralace. Where does it come from? Like, that was a joke about Elon Musk drinking the right combination of rum and Coke or whatever, but people literally think that. You guys don't understand. You probably do understand. You probably do understand. People who are not fighting this 24 hours a day literally don't even think about where this stuff comes from. They really do think that, like, Elon Musk is just Tony Stark, and just everything is so humane, and there's no way that any human being would involuntarily be tortured in their mind for decades and decades. They throw that out. It doesn't even exist. And then to ones who may think about that, they're like, oh, well, are people being experimented? No, people wouldn't be experimented on. They just theoretically have this perfected when the consumer product or the medical advancement comes out. And that's not how things work. People are cut up into tiny little pieces to get these products, to get these consumer products and these medical advancements. And that is wrong. That is wrong. And it doesn't matter that they're good advancements. You see, like, because I know we were talking about, like, oh, some good advancements are going to come out of this. Yeah, it's true. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good the advancements are. The means are the ends. The means are the ends. How you get somewhere is going to affect where you get to. Let's look at where psychiatry came from, right? Where'd psychiatry come from, guys? Came from World War II. Came from Nazis experimenting on Jews in the death camp. That was the means, right? And look at how screwed up psychiatry is. Oh, it does some good things, right? It does some good things, but is it really healthy overall for humans? Look what it's doing to us. Oh, well, now we had a DSM, and this is what mentally ill people look like. Look how it can be controlled and everything, because the means were evil. The ends are tainted. The ends are tainted.
First, we discovered fire and developed oral communication. Then we turned oral language into writing. And from then on, we found a way to turn that into the printing press. After a few centuries, we happened upon this thing called electricity, which gave rise to telephones, radios, TVs, and eventually the computer I'm using right now.
And then
gradually increasing the bandwidth of mind-to-mind communication.
It just magically.
Now
we got a computer. We went from computer to bandwidth of the mind to mind. We went from there's computers and they're electronic, and now telepathy. Where was the decades of kids having holes burned in their brains, MK Ultra, driving people insane, destroying their brains. All of us as targeted individuals all around the world, 24-hour-a-day torture. It went from, we got computers, to telepathy. It just happened. It just happened. Boom. It just happened. We're going to leave out that inconvenient part about so many lives being ripped apart and people being tortured for these trinkets that we're not ready for. Now, that's an opinion right here. Some of you guys may think that we're ready for some of this technology. I'm looking at people being being tortured in my own home 24 hours a day because the military-industrial complexes of all these nations decided that it was a really good weapon, and they also want to make consumer products out of it too. And I'm seeing that humanity's not ready for this stuff. That we're not ready. You know.
New technology that could reduce this bandwidth even further. The BCI, or brain-computer interface, which holds the ambitious promise of letting your brain communicate directly with the internet.
So there's a volunteer right there.
BCIs could very well
There's
be
one
the key to
volunteer.
making things like telepathy and telekinesis a reality. BCIs are no longer science fiction. There are interfaces out there right now that'll actually let you play the game Pong using only your mind. BCIs are quickly becoming a household name, allowing disabled patients to control their prosthetic limbs and sensory bionics. In fact, some BCIs can now perform real-time speech decoding, translating our brainwaves.
However, do we see what's happening in this video? And this is why this is not one person. This isn't just one guy who's interested in this topic. This is careful propaganda. Look at all the people they're showing, right? They're showing disabled people who volunteer for some of these brain-to-computer interfaces. That is careful propaganda. If you didn't notice that as a targeted individual, or you're watching this channel, you're watching my video, and you didn't understand that that's propaganda, all those different pictures of the disabled people who are volunteers for this stuff, that is careful propaganda. They're putting it into people's minds without saying it. This is the only experimentation to get to there. And it's a lie. They don't say it because it's a lie, but they show those carefully placed pictures to put that into people's heads without saying the word. And that is careful propaganda. And I don't care. Like, it's 100%.
Into written or spoken language. And we've started using them to communicate with people who have severe neurodegenerative disorders. For example, researchers from Stanford University have now built a BCI that lets paralyzed people literally type with their brains, using nothing but electrode arrays implanted into their motor cortex. In the study, researchers asked 3 patients with Lou Gehrig's disease to imagine the hand movements that they'd use to write any letter of the alphabet. They then had the BCI transmit the desire to write any specific letter into a series of digital signals so that the computer could type the letter for them. One of the patients was able to type 39 correct intended characters, which is about 8 words per minute, all without using autocomplete or spell check. We've also begun to develop BCIs that let our brains talk directly to these computers, which could open the door to even higher ambitions.
Okay, now let me tell you, anybody in targeted individuals will understand this brain-to-computer interface. They're showing a lot of fun brain-to-computer that helps people. Those are good things. Like, I don't want to say those aren't good things. I'm not a monster, but that's not it. Let me tell you about brain-to-computer interface. I've got attackers on an integrated neuroweapon system. One of them can either put a chip in their ear or something on their head. They can put their brain waves through the integrated weapon systems that filter it, that match it to my unique brain waves, and then I can feel what they're feeling, or they can put in visuals into my head for breaking down a torture victim. So that's also brain-to-computer interface. Just want to put it in there because he's not. This is going to be a totally slanted, all this stuff is great. Let's just sweep all of the innocent people who are being tortured and experimented on for their entire lives. Let's sweep them under the rugs and enjoy these new consumer products and medical advancements. Like, and trust me, like, I think that's a great thing that somebody who's like a paraplegic can, like, you know, communicate with the computer and can do those things. But they can do those things and they don't have to torture a bunch of innocent people to try and bring it further, right? There can be advancements doing things right, doing things the right way. But that's not how things work. That's not how things work in our society. They'll cut up as many families as they want to. They'll sweep it under the rug because they have the power to. They won't sweep it under the rug forever. But I mean, it needs to be said. I think with anything, you can't just, something this important, humanity has to be involved in the decision making. And that's what we've lost. We've completely lost that in the world. There has been those times where you could get away from these centralized, huge powers, and individual people could make their own decisions. Now the top of the pyramid makes all of our decisions. It makes all of our decisions. And so people are just like, oh, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. And, oh, we're supposed to think those people that are saying they're being experimented on, their brains are being experimented, we're supposed to think they're mentally ill. Okay, we'll think they're mentally ill. We'll also gang stalk them. We're also going to gang stalk them and know that they're not mentally ill, but think that they're mentally ill. So we're going to split our mind in two, right? We're going to be double-minded. For anybody who doesn't know what double-mindedness is, go check out, 1984, double speak, double think. It's where somebody knows that they're lying. They know that this isn't true, but they still say it. They still think it. But then they simultaneously hold another thought in their head. And that's what everybody in our society is doing. Not targeted individuals, because we actually know what's going on. But when there's a person who's not being directly targeted, they hear about targeted individuals, they're probably like, well, that could happen. That's it. Yeah, the military-industrial complex is pretty corrupt. These people don't seem insane, but the mainstream media is not saying that this is happening, so I'm going to believe both things. And since I'm believing both of those things, well, I'm not going to act on anything. I'll only act on what is easy in society, right? Which ends up being doing gang stalking or doing the bad stuff, because that's easy. It's the path of least resistance. So double thinking always leads to doing the wrong thing. If you can't think the right thing, you can't do the right thing. And when you think the right thing and the wrong thing, usually you're just going to end up doing whatever's the easiest one. And I'm not talking about us, but I'm talking about not normal people. I'm talking about people just out there who aren't being directly targeted, who really don't know anything about society. They have a good thought and a bad thought in their head. They're going to go with whatever is the easiest thing. And I guess that's kind of mean. That's a mean generalization. I do have a lot of hope for some people, just not today, I guess. For targeted individuals, I have a lot of hope, but it's not normal people today. And I've been watching way too much YouTube. I was watching this guy, Filthy Frank. He's funny. And I watched some of those channels, like just to see what's going on with them, just to see who's getting like millions and millions of views. And I think I go insane when I do that. I'm okay now. I'll walk it off. I'll think it off. I'll walk it off. I'll play a couple more minutes of this, just one more minute of it.
And of course, I'm talking about neural lace, which appears to be Silicon Valley's next big obsession. Neural lace is a term coined by the famous sci-fi author Ian Banks, defined as a device that allows brain-to-brain communication between any two humans, or between humans and AI. It's usually described as a kind of net, with thousands or even millions of electrodes communicating with the neurons to let us upload or download thoughts from the internet. And there are now 3 big tech entrepreneurs who are trying.
I just want to throw it in here quickly for, targeted individuals know that, but with remote neural monitoring and remote neural manipulation, many people all over the globe, some of us call ourselves targeted individuals, our attackers in automated systems can read and write to our brain. It takes a lot of trauma. They have to traumatize us and all this stuff, but we have a unique brainwave signature and catalysts in our body, catalysts that pass through the blood-brain barrier where they're reading involuntarily, torturing the mind, reading and writing to the brain, erasing your thoughts and putting in what they want to put in. Sometimes people's thoughts on the actual, some of the human operators, but sometimes, from the automated system, visuals from that, feelings from that. Targeted individuals already know that, but I just want to throw that in there just in case there's a non-targeted individual watching this. It's already being done on a scale of millions of people. It's being done to probably like tens of millions, lots of people who don't even know that it's being done. and they're reading and writing to the brains of people involuntarily. Now, extreme targeted individuals that know that we're being tortured, gang stalked, and neuroweapons messing with our minds, we can kind of resist. We know that our mind's being messed with, but there are a lot of people out there who don't know that. A lot of people that don't know that. And what if, now look at the mass shooting. Did they know that they were targeted individuals? And maybe they didn't. And those are a lot more complicated issues than just, oh, it's a targeted individual that did it. But you know, I think what I think is there's obvious mind control involved in those. 200. It was okay when that double shooting took place. The one El Paso, and then was it Ohio? The one where two happened in one day. There were 251 mass shootings in 2019. Now there are 280 something. Like a month later, there are 280 something mass shootings in America for 2019. People have to understand there's mind control involved in that. There's also false flags involved in that. And I'm saying all these words where nobody will see this video, but who cares? You know, we know there's mind control involved in that. There's been 251 mass shootings. Me and somebody were talking about it. Me and Corey were talking about it, and we were thinking back to the Wild West, right? In the Wild West, everybody carried guns. They'd go in saloons and stuff. How many mass shootings were there? Not as many as we have in America, you know, these days. Something is wrong, you know, obviously. So okay, a couple more seconds, and I'm going to go through the comments.
Braintree founder Brian Johnson and his company Kernel. Mark Zuckerberg with the V8 neuroprosthetic. And of course, Elon Musk with his famous new company, Neuralink. All three of them are trying to develop this neural lace technology for real. And they all have one very strange reason for doing so: to prevent an AI takeover by simply merging with the AI.
I have a lot of great comments. Let me read some of them. So Lynette said, Lynette, beloved daughter of God, said, I agree with Kyle. There's some good technology that helps others who are disabled or who have been paralyzed due to car accidents or helping a deaf person to hear clearly. Yeah, they're great advancements. There's a right way to do that. They don't have to torture us or use neuroweapons on a mass percentage of the population of the world to do some of these things. There can be people like people with terminal illnesses that volunteer, or disabled people who want to use the technology, right? You have somebody without a limb, experiment on them. I'm sure they would be okay with that. Or these people, and they do that too. See, that's the problem. They do that too. They do get volunteers, but then a bunch of involuntary torture, because a lot of it, you know, is about making weapons for the military. There's too many interests, right? We want weapons, we want to advance the weapons, we want control over human beings, but then we want to trickle out some of these consumer medical advancements too. So for those, we can get a couple of volunteers, but then we'll get a bunch of not volunteers and use them for consumer products, medical advancements, and to advance the weapons for war. There's too many interests, right? And when you have military that's a corporation, the corporation's like, oh, consumer products, medical advancements, weapons of war. It's just, you know, then they're just willing to do whatever. They're willing to hurt anybody. Oh, and we can make it a national security thing? Oh, we can do whatever we want and just say it's national security and say it's terrorism. And then you've got these other interests like DHS Fusion Center, the NSA and things like that, who want more surveillance. So all these interests intertwine. The system has gotten so out of control, and it's so obvious. It's so obvious. It's just so obvious. So we've just got to talk about it and just do our best. But it's just so obvious, you know. They could have these good advancements, these medical advancements and consumer advancements by getting volunteers and taking it slow. But because the DOD is doing it, the Pentagon's involved in it, in other countries, it's the military industrial complexes of all those countries, they take shortcuts because they want to advance those weapons quick. They want people not to know. They don't want to just do it slowly, because the public will start to figure things out. And the public will start to get control of some of these technologies. They want to do it fast so they can make that gap bigger. the gap from the people up at the top of the pyramid and the military industrial complexes of all the nations and the Council of Foreign Relations and the Federal Reserve. They want them to have all these advances while the public is very far and keeps getting further down and keeps getting like, oh, they're way ahead of us. They want to keep making that gap bigger, you know. So they do very I mean, this is the most unethical thing that I could ever even dream of. I think that anybody could dream of. Yeah, Diana says, can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. How could I make, how were we talking about this stuff? You know, people were targeted individuals were talking about this like 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. And look at this YouTube channel talking about transhumanism. Look at Elon Musk talking about Neuralace. They just stall. They just know, everybody knows that we're telling the truth, knows that the targeted individuals back there were telling the truth. It eventually comes out, all these technologies comes out that we were telling the truth. But as they go along back then, it's like, oh, they're just crazy because they got to stall for time because it's part of the plan that we are sacrificed, that random innocent people are sacrificed for this stuff. You know, we just can't stand for it. The drunk ninja says, yes, wirelessly. What's the difference between a telephone and a mobile cell phone? Yeah. I mean, like that's like basically the idea. I mean, your cell phone can get a signal anywhere you go in the world, and they're starting to use that kind of that principle with human beings. You know, it's a little bit more complicated, but that's the basic idea. You know, that's why we can be targeted anywhere we go, with a satellite routing the signals to microwave towers and now 5G, and then all these other things like over the horizon radar, ground radar, drones, and everything like that. Okay, so Asylum Ghost says, and also check out simulation hypothesis in correlation to the TI and AI phenomenon. Yeah. What's her name talked about that? Dana Ashley was talking to one of the scientists. Oh, you may be talking about something different, like the world is a simulation. I might have missed your answer because I was asking you if you thought everybody was hooked up to remote neural monitoring. Asylum Go says, see, the technology is already out there to such a degree, we got to catch up our collective understanding as a society. Brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah, well put. That's well put. Yeah, definitely. We've got to catch up. I mean, that's why I'm like screaming and getting frustrated, and a lot of other targeted individuals are. We just got to get out the information. I'm going to try and stay calm most of the time. Yeti Dog says, all these algorithms that are to make your experience better. No, it's so they can personally mess with you better. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap it up, guys. I've been here. I'm going to go through some of these comments on it so y'all can just see, but y'all got to go to this channel. iFlack says, Vulcan Wolverine, love what you do, Kyle. When you live stream, I feel you are a spokesperson for Rusty Eyes. No, don't think that. Don't think that. I'm just a targeted individual doing my angle and talking about my angle. Everybody who's experiencing this has to. I'm not a spokesperson. I'm not a spokesperson. I get angry. You know, I put out good information. We can't do that. This is too important to like, oh, Ella's going to fix it, or Dr. Horton's going to fix it, and I appreciate your comment, iFlack, but we've all got to do our angle. We've all got to fight from our corner. We've all got to do it, right? But I appreciate what you're saying, man. Stacy says, Cole Pinter TI, they are also competing with other countries who use the same tech. Yeah, and I feel like that's what, like, my attackers who are microwaving me. I'm not sure what you were referencing. It might have been something specific, Stacy, but like my attackers, I think they're ex-military, and they're like basically like they have to do this because Russia and China are advancing their technologies like this too. But I feel like above that, the competition between these nations is being used. Competition and cooperation is being used in competitive edge. Like they tell ex-military, well, you gotta mind control this person or torture this family, because Russia's doing the same thing, right? And so it's used to build up a global experimentation, that telling certain soldiers or ex-soldiers, hey, this is because we're competing with Russia or China. It gets them to do these horrible things, right? So that threat of competition is used to really experiment on the global global humanity, right? So it's like, because if I go to Russia, right, I'm going to be targeted. So Russia is cooperating with America on some levels of this, or if I go to England, I'm going to be gang stalked and I'm going to be hit with directed energy weapons. So there's these rumblings of competition, but then there's also cooperation too. And I think even some of that competition is used as a psyop against some of these people who actually torture people with the weapons. Like, oh, you have to do this because Russia and China, they're advancing their weapons. So our military has to advance these weapons too. And it's used so they'll do these terrible things. And it's really building up a global network of mind control and torture. I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. That's just it's kind of what it made me think of. Okay, let me read some of these. Yeah, thanks for your comment, iFlack. I'm not trying to say I don't appreciate it, but we've all got to be leaders. I'm nerd out. On Star Wars, the third one, I said this the last time. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi's talking to that dude on that planet, and he says, if you have warriors, the time is now. Like, we all have to, don't wait for somebody to fix it. Don't think that I'm the spokesman. This is such a big issue, right? I'm leaving out things because I'm coming from what's happening to me and what I talk to you guys about, but there's so many other angles of this technology that everybody who wants what's right for this world has to come out and talk about. Everybody in chat. And you don't have to make YouTube videos or whatever. Sometimes I feel like I make a fool out of myself. Well, I don't really care. But there's other ways to get the word out. But I appreciate the support, man. I really appreciate your support. Laura says thank you. Thank you, Kyle. Hang in there. You too, Laura. You too. Great job at the Colorado rally. Thank you so much for putting that together. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you do. Yeah. Let me kind of. So Stacy says, iFlack, I'm hanging in there. Same stuff, different day. How have you been doing? Yeah. You guys really have been hanging in there. I just, man, I don't know. I'm like getting ready for Dr. Hoffer. I'm gonna really work on that, but I'm gonna work on doing some really crazy good stuff. And I need to work on my affidavit too. They're not going to get me on any. My attackers will never get me to do anything violent, nor would I ever do that, because it'll only be used against us. This is a war where there's so much propaganda and mind control. Like if you try and fight back physically, it's done, but there's better, smarter ways, and when we can't think strategically of what we can do next, then we need to have our mind balanced in there so we can function, and then go someplace else, right? Go someplace else than the mind. If our mind's going too nuts, we need to come from some other place. It's the only way that I've survived. And I don't know how to explain it. I don't know the science. I tried to scientifically explain it by neurons in the heart, but that doesn't really cut it. There's more to it than that. There's more to our connection with God, and something that we got to use things that science doesn't know about yet. Catch the blind side, Okay, let's go to some of the comments. I keep putting that off. Let's go to some of the comments on this. They made me really mad. This is the guy. The guy who does the videos. Maybe it is. I doubt it's just one guy. This seems like a production. Sorry for extremely belated Neuralink upload. I got a YouTube strike on a 5-second clip, and they wouldn't let me upload for a while. New vids coming soon though. And with he's got his little thing like that, like an OK symbol. I guess it could just be an OK symbol. I'm a little bit suspicious of this guy. Okay, Jake Cass says Cowboy Bebop is an awesome anime. Liking your video just for including it. Upright 8. If it weren't for the fact that Facebook's okay, let's see. I love pigeons and hate people. Papa No Saki, yes, I've been waiting so long for a Neuralink video. Thank you. I'm so interested in Neuralink. I'm interested in There's so much interest in Neuralink, this technology. You see, people don't have a hard time understanding linking to the brain, things sending signals to the brain. Just when it's being done at a torturous level, they don't want to know about it because it's dangerous. They'd have to do something in their life. It makes them nervous. They don't want to know about it, right? But this stuff, they're interested. The technical information, as long as it's convenient, oh no, oh we love it, oh we love it. It's Elon Musk is our god. Tayubo, this is actually a pretty legit take on Neuralink, better than Cold Fusion's. What's TBH? To be honest, I don't get all those like 3-letter things. Like in my opinion, IMO. Takes me a long time to get those. Okay. There were some, it doesn't look like they're here. Would be best, okay, Zane Gilly says, would be best for humanity to perfect the level they are on before jumping to the, okay, that's a good comment. That's a good comment. Thank you. Before jumping to the next, we are totally not ready for an upgrade. The Forbidden Planet, anyone? And the deal with that is that it's already here. It's been done without our acceptance. So I see a lot of people saying, well, you know, you need to reject the mark of the beast, or, you know, oh, this is going to get bad. They're going to have mind control soon. No, it's here. It's here. It's been used for a long time. The people who are talking about it are called insane, right? So if there's any non-targeted individuals that came across this video and you're still if you're still watching this video, which is kind of a laugh, then you got to know that the people saying they're being mind controlled are telling the truth. They're telling the truth. And the military-industrial complex and some people pulling the strings up above them. I guess I call those people the cabal or whatever. You know, they're pulling the strings, and mind control already exists. It's already being done to millions and millions. I don't know how many all over the world. But people's minds are being controlled by mass signals, but by integrated weapons platforms that are tied to supercomputers that then have shift workers. And it's a complicated mess, but it's already here. So humanity's not gonna have a choice, right? Targeted individuals, you understand this? We don't have a choice to be ready for this technology, to accept it or to not accept it. It was raped into our body. And then, you know, the directed energy messing with our minds too. Oh, look, raccoon with a weird symbol says, you are on the cutting edge, my friend. I'm on the cutting edge. You guys are on the cutting edge. We already have mind control going on. We already got electromagnetic fields around our head and non-consensual implants. We're on the cutting edge of society. We're on the cutting edge of society. We're the ones, we actually have it being done to us. Our brains are interacting with electromagnetic frequencies. People are reading and writing into our brain, remote neural monitoring. We're the ones on the cutting edge. This mofo that's making videos about how great this stuff is going to be when it just pops onto the scene, when it magically just pops onto the scene, he is not on the cutting edge. He is a liar. He is a liar, and he's a propagandist. You know, I guess he might be just some guy making. I get a feeling he's not, though. So excuse my paranoia. Excuse my paranoia, and I'm not sure, but I just have a feeling that this is one of those things on YouTube. When I have Masons and ex-military guys breaking into my condo and like cutting my electronics. For anybody that didn't come in early, you might need to rewatch it. But somebody like cut my transcranial stimulation device plug, which I don't move at all. Like I did a rant at the beginning of the video. I kind of like the rant. I haven't done a rant in a long time because my attackers subdue me. They subdue me like that bull in front of the red cape. So I better take that as some kind of some kind of sign from my attackers that when I'm angry, I actually get stuff done and people respond to me. So they subdued me down, which it's good to be peaceful sometimes. I've come to some peace with God, but it's a very, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know about it. And I just don't want to say anything where people are like, oh, you're bipolar or whatever, because it's not bipolar. It's not like the chemicals just shifting in the brain. It's like having to, okay, we can do this and have happy times in our lives, but oh, we're in a 24-hour-a-day war. So you're in both of those situations, and it rips you in two. It rips you in two. You know, you have some good times, but it's like, oh, the war is constantly going. Oh, I love you guys. Thanks for coming to my video. I hope some of this, maybe me getting it out, and can help you. It can be cathartic for you guys. I'm gonna have to find ways to do that. But good things are coming up with Dr. Hoffer and more rallies and stuff like that. We just gotta fight. Let's get fired up. Fired up. If my attackers mess with my brain, I'll fire my heart up. Let's get past it. Let's just get through it. Get through it. Okay, Ila Mikiliv. I've been waiting for, okay, no, we already read that one. Okay, let's see what TH says. Hopefully these neural implants and their offspring will be able to eliminate things like mental illnesses, or at least help us understand things like Alzheimer's. Fates worse than a quick, unexpected death. Using them for Facebook VR would just be degeneracy, worse than some Orwellian purpose. Well, you didn't know how right you were, TH, because the Orwellian purpose is already happening, and they're not going to try and stop mental illness. That's the problem. With these targeting programs and the neuro weapons that are attacking people, they're trying to create mental illness. They're trying to create mental illness and mess up people's brains so more mental illness can be occurring, and then people can be funneled into mental institutions and hospitals to take more drugs, more psychotropic drugs, and these cycles can continue. You're right, all these angles off of these cycles of the destruction of America and the destruction of humanity, so that then they can rebuild, right? This is not a crazy thing that I'm saying here. This is the plan. The master plan of the people higher up the pyramid is order out of chaos. They want to destroy all these countries, the infrastructures of the countries. They want to destroy people's minds. They want a cognitive dissonance, and then they want to rebuild from the ashes. That is their insane, delusional, satanic lie, and it is very real. And there's lots of different moving parts for it, but it's a real cult that like Masons and stuff are involved in. Okay. Okay, so let me just read a couple more, and then I'll end because I'm getting really long-winded, and we'll just do a hangout. We'll do a hangout. I really want to do a defensive video soon, but I want to get it so we can just hang out and you guys can talk and chat or come on if you want. I'll figure that out. I really got to do a defensive thing soon. Okay, so AJ Berry, this really annoys me. You might be smarter than a lot of the visionary entrepreneurs of our time. What's your secret in knowing all of this knowledge? What's your secret? I'm generally obsessed with how much esoteric knowledge you have. It blows my mind. Oh, your esoteric knowledge. Your esoteric knowledge of transhumanism. Yeah. Yeah. Wisajawudik Archetype says, will people actually trust Facebook with their mind? And Wisajawudik, whatever your name is, that's a dumb question. That's a dumb question because nobody's going to ask you. Nobody's going to ask you when they implant all this crap in you. For some of the consumer products, people will buy them and stuff like that, but nobody's asking anybody about this stuff. They're just putting it in them and targeting them. So Facebook will bring a new meaning to the phrase losing your mind. And I think it already does. JB, says, I love the idea of upgrading and uploading to the mind, but I wonder if we're merging with AI or making ourselves defenseless again against it. Man, these are pretty good comments. You know, I think one of them really really got me mad. A BCI would allow us to travel at light speed. I don't even know what that means. This is funny. Oh no says nobody, and then Transhumania, the Zuck. So I think it's more like nobody said anything, and then Elon Musk is like, hey, here's this Neuralink device to tap into your brain. Or nobody said anything, and then the military-industrial complex is like, hey, we're going to start mind controlling, you know, the population. Oh, this one makes me really mad. Arturno Rosso, thank you, Transhumania. I requested this video around Elon's last Neuralink announcement, and I'm happy to see that you put one out. I'd like to think due to my request. I love your videos. Thanks for helping us advance in the right direction, transhumanism. Ugh, that's so horrible. So horrible. Like, and I wouldn't even care if this was a tool, if this was all being used as a tool and humanity was in control, I'd be fine with it. Look, we can have, you know, metal limbs and stuff like that. If humanity was aware of everything that was happening with this technology, you know, okay, well, if the whole public knows about, you know, a technology that can interface with the brain, and it's made sure, like people make sure that it's controlled by the individual, and there was this process of doing that, you know, I'd be like, well, maybe we need to go that way if we're in control. But the way that it's being done, no way, no how. It's the worst horror ever. There are little positive things that come out of it, but the intense horror that it's creating in the world, it just unbalances any kind of good that can come out of it, you know, any kind of good that can come out of it. See, Peter Michael Tom Furlazek, at some point, we are going to have a very good discussion on how not to use this technology. No, we aren't. We haven't. People are saying it's being used on me. Look, I'm saying it on this video. People are reading and writing into my brain. They're painfully stimulating my nervous system to torture me. We're not having a good discussion on how to use this technology. It's not happening. It's just they're doing it to people. The top of the pyramid makes the decisions, and then everybody has a little discussion about what they want us to discuss. We're not having good discussions about this stuff. So he says, think about hacking, security issues, and accidental neural net forming, along with the ethical and moral implication, how the interface will not be used when it comes to the interface type, how to ensure the security of the device and the identity of the person using Neuralink. I'm personally waiting that it is ensured that this technology cannot be hacked, how the user is defined as addresses can be hacked, faked, or all this stuff is going to be able to be hacked. Any consumer product or any medical advancement, they all have back doors into this, and then they go past the devices. The Neuralink is a device that you put that connects to the vestibular system, but everybody has nanoparticulates in their body. They have a unique brainwave signature that can be tapped into. It's done. Like there is no there's no personal privacy. People are talking about personal privacy with the end stage devices of all this torture when there's been no privacy for so long, and these devices can wirelessly look into your home and look into your brain. And this guy's talking about these in the, like Neuralink, will there be privacy with that? He's missing the whole thing. He's missing what is happening in reality. You see why I get so mad? Because they're talking about like, oh, Neuralink, but there's this whole other thing that's happening in society with the targeting, with people that have this done to them non-consensually. Okay, guys, I'm kind of getting tired. Let me read some of y'all's comments. Let me read one more. I like this one, and I don't want to agree with it, but right now I'm kind of feeling it. Matt Hill says, we're completely doomed. Mind reading. Mind control is now in our future. Oh, but you got it wrong, Matt. You got it wrong. Mind control is now in our present and has been in our past, and it's been going on for a long time. But the beginning was pretty good. we're completely doomed to mind reading, but then it's mind control is now in our future. No, 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 it's now. Like I'm being mind controlled. People in my chat are being mind controlled. The people just out in society, millions around the world are being mind controlled, but not only mind controlled, torture too with directed energy weapons. Get with it, man. People need to get with it. We're gonna have to get more assertive, and I'm not talking about violence. I'm gonna be thinking in more ways. People like, people like, I don't know. Anthony Jenkins, great. And when one human becomes as powerful as 1,000 normal humans, I guess we can eat the stupid. You're stupid, Anthony. Secular humanist. Yeah, I need this upgrade badly. My smartphone is outsmarting me already. Yeah, I'm sure your gerbil is outsmarting you because you're secular humanist. All right, guys. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. They weren't that bad. These comments weren't that bad. But guys, if you just came into chat or I'll just say it again. We need to go to this channel. Just when you're checking it out, maybe go check out this channel and fill up the comments with what's happening to you, with the neuro weapons attacking you, V2K psychic driving, remote neural monitoring, remote neural manipulation. Put it on all this stuff so that people are just coming to see like, oh, look at the transhumanists. They know what's happening. They need to know what's happening. No invasive BCI, but non-invasive BCI, yes. That's what they already have, non-invasive BCI. I mean, a lot of my targeting and a lot of y'all's targeting, it's non-invasive. It's electromagnetic fields with bidirectional streams of photons. Now, what those photons are, it's like, is there infrasound mixed with, do they do different combinations of bidirectional streams of energy to do specific things to the brain, to do different things to the brain within that electromagnetic field around the head? And that's only one angle of their stuff. Okay, guys, I got to kind of wrap it up, but let me read some last comments from you guys. So David Irwin says, iFlack, I really hate it when they do that. Not as bad as the endless loop chatterbots. Yeah, David, I have the endless loop chatterbots too. The noise canceling hearing aids have helped a lot. It's really interfered with it to bring it down to a lower level. But really, guys, and I'll do a video on this. Maybe we'll just hang out and we'll go through defenses. I want, when people come on, I want them to be able to talk about what they want to talk about. So I might have to do a defensive video and then do a hangout. I don't know. It's fake, a factory. Catherine Horton is played by Kevin Spacey. CGI, look at the eyes. What? I didn't catch that conversation. Oh, Andrew Dunnett says, watch it, Vulcan. You will have been diagnosed with a schizo form. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia at the beginning, but then I talked to my psychiatrists and doctors and family and stuff, and so they brought it down to delusional disorder. So now I am diagnosed with delusional disorder and not schizophrenia. At the beginning, I was diagnosed with psychotic disorder, and I was just sitting there telling the neurologist, like, hey, I'm being hit with directed energy weapons. It's messing with my mind and stuff. And I appreciate that, Andrew, and you're a good guy, and I know you're saying watch out. You're saying be careful. I don't care. I'm never going to do anything violent. If people think that I'm crazy talking about this stuff is way out there. It's like that Star Wars. If you have warriors, the time is now. There's some other great, better quotes that I need to use. The time is now, though. We need to, this is happening. I've been speaking out about it for years. A lot of people have been speaking out about it for so long. We need to be assertive. Like you can't just because somebody has some kind of authority and they're lying and they're saying, hey, this isn't happening and you're crazy, they're still wrong, right? So we've got to really work at pumping up our perception, our perspective. We are right. And there's going to be a lot of people that say, Kyle is dangerous and he's making mentally ill people not take their medication or things. I get it. That's going to happen. this is happening. This is happening. It's a huge effing mess. There are mentally ill people that maybe think that this is happening to them. There are real targeted individuals that know that this is happening to them. It's a huge mess. It's supposed to be a huge mess. So we got to say, just like Asylum of Ghosts was saying, we got to help people catch up. We got to help people catch up, because they want, the system wants to trickle out these convenient things and stuff like that to trap people more, to put them in more danger. So we have to be crying out in the wilderness and get a lot of people to listen that it's already been going on. These people have already been abusing, and way more than just abusing, this neurotech, murdering families, getting people to kill themselves, evil satanic stuff. And they have to know about it because it's happening. People can't keep their heads in the sand unless they want to turn into an ostrich. That's what our society is turning into. What's the use of living in a society where people are cowards? Where people are cowards and they won't tell the truth, and they do things and pretend like my attackers. They're microwaving me to death while asleep. They're mind controlling me and hurting my family, and they're calling themselves soldiers. They think they're soldiers. They think they're helping their country. They're murdering innocent Americans. No, you can't lie and do evil and act like you're good. And we have to speak out about it, guys. And yeah, I mean, this video was pretty crazy. Like I've been all over the place. I'm feeling a lot of stress. I don't want to talk. It's the targeting, but there's extra stressors. And I'm going to get through it. We're going to get through it. But it is a war. I just, sometimes I'm like, you know, the type of people, there's some very sweet people who are being targeted, and I don't want to say, hey, you're a soldier now. Your old life's gone. It's gone. You're a soldier. You're fighting. This is a war. And even me, and some of you guys, it's like we have a hard time accepting that, and also having peace in our life, right? We got to do both. This is a war. We are soldiers, and we're not going to use violence. Not going to use violence in this, but we are soldiers, and we got to do this. We've also got to find happiness in our life, and I think sometimes that's a hard balance, and our perception gets messed up, and we're waiting on somebody to help us because we think that we're living in this system that's fair and just, or we think that it is sometimes, right? And we're waiting for that justice. I'm being murdered in my home. People should help and not hurt, right? But we got to understand, we got to get that perception in our head. This is a war. And the biggest weapon you have, the biggest weapon you have. See, you know, and this, if this was a pen, right? Pen, you got your mouth, you got, and, you know, just express yourself. You don't have to express things the way I do, or Dr. Horton does, or Ella does. Just express it the way that you express. You don't have to be some, you know, great scientist about it all. You know, I'm definitely not. I try to kind of focus on something, but just express it. We have the right. And I'm going to, I've been thinking about writing kind of, I don't know if it's a poem, like a poem, but I just want to write something about, we have the right. This is not, I'm not some mentally ill person. I'm somebody who's been tortured for decades. You guys in chat, you're not mentally ill. It doesn't matter what the world thinks or lies. They were lying, you know, they were thinking this, they were, you know, it doesn't matter what the world lies. The truth is the truth, you know. We'll find our balance, and we'll do this. Homework, guys, please go to this channel. You know, I don't know if you want to subscribe to it or whatever. I think I subscribed to it at the beginning. Let's fill up the comment sections. So these people that are coming to check out transhumanism like it's all fun and stuff like that, we tell them the experimentation that's been happening to us, that's happening to us now, and that's been done in the past. So any positive places where the system's trying to propagandize and say, oh, this is really convenient, and just look at the pretty stuff, look at the good stuff, and just forget it. We want to be there. We want to be in those places, right? Because the people who are maybe too cowardly to look at our information, they'll come to these places and be like, oh, it's fun. We want to be in their face. Like, we want to be right in their face. Okay, guys. All right, I love you guys. Y'all take care. Hey, Autumn, how you doing? I was just about to close it up. Your time zone is way different than mine. Eric EXE says, no wonder why Alex Jones is popular with millions of people, etc. Tells it like it is. They fear Alex because he knows everything. Yeah, Alex Jones does tell us some good truths, but I don't know. I really do think that he's kind of a gatekeeper sort. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just too paranoid at this point. All right, guys. I love y'all. Y'all stay safe. Just stay strong. I'll do some more stuff so y'all can have a voice on my channel, especially people with other channels. Just be patient with me, because I'm going through stuff too. I really want to just do a defensive video and go through exactly how I use things, like exactly how I use the defenses, and try and remember exactly how I built up using them, just so it can maybe give y'all some more information. I just, a lot of people try some of these defenses, and I think that they're not using them all the time. Like, you really have to stick with it and be almost like a medicine, right? And I'll talk about that later. I've been going for so long, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I love y'all. Just stay strong. A lot more great positive stuff is coming. Sometimes we just got to let it. Sometimes I'm going to have to let it out. And I still trust in God. I still trust in God and have a lot of faith. But this is just happening in our world. This weird stuff is just happening in our world. This is a war. It's the war of our time, in our life. It's our war. And it just happened, but it doesn't mean that it decides how we will act and how we'll help people and how we'll change things. All right, guys, I love y'all. Thank you for coming. And hey, Native, you changed the end of your name. Thanks for coming, guys. I love you guys. Yeah, Eric EXE says he was on Joe Rogan. That was a great episode. And I'll say this, Alex Jones is really entertaining. He's really entertaining. He says a lot of good stuff. He doesn't go into targeted individuals too much, and he kind of does a little bit. He kind of mentions it here or there. He doesn't really go into Israel. He doesn't go into Israel and the corruption, the dual citizenship, Israelis in America, Black Cube. We've got Black Cube is ex-Israeli intelligence forces doing military operations on American soil, dressed up as a business. Like, they're using this kind of technology to go after clients. They have these rich people who want them to go after people and shut them up or get blackmail on them, and they're using all this advanced technology. Ex-Israeli intelligence forces doing military operations, but it's like they say, oh, we're Black Cube, we're a business, right? These mercenary groups, like Blackwater, Blackwater or whatever was one of the beginning ones, kind of, and now we have all these Frankenstein monsters anywhere. I mean, Frankenstein monsters everywhere. And when you have a business and you start mixing that with war, which Eisenhower warned about, and it's the simplest way to describe it, it's just hard. It's hard. The businesses want to increase their bottom line. What increases a business's bottom line? More wars. You need more weapons for wars. More people to experiment on. You can advance the weapons and then sell the weapons, right? And many, many other things, besides that. But business mixed with military, it should not be done. That shouldn't exist. That shouldn't exist, and that needs to be torn down. It's the most powerful force on our world now, because you got violence and money, and the most advanced weapons that can control people's minds. You got power in the world, So, but I do see a greater power, and we see that they know that this is a power, right? They know that this, and people understanding it, and the public becoming aware of it and getting angry about it, the whole public knowing about it, they understand that that's powerful, right? These evil people know that that is powerful. That's why this is our greatest weapon, is just getting on a YouTube video, a couple of hundred of you guys watching this, and it's like, even if no other, and I really welcome non-targeted individuals. I really welcome you to the channel, and I'm not like some kind of I'm not like Magneto, oh, mutants and non-mutants, definitely not. But even if it's just targeted individuals watching my videos, you guys can get inspired. Or maybe, oh, I was thinking of this. Oh, you made me think of this, and then you go off and do something great, spreading it like wildfire. We need that chain reaction, right? And the evil people doing this stuff, they know, they're scared of that chain reaction, and then you guys bounce it back. I mean, let's check this out. Let's just end it on this. This is a very positive thought. I'm sitting here, and maybe some of you guys, I give you guys ideas about what's happening, or we look at an article or video, and you're like, oh, well, oh, I have an idea, I want to do this. And then y'all are putting stuff in the chat where I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Boom, 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 boom. And it's like a chain reaction, right? It's starting at a small spot. And then you got all these other targeted individuals, they have their little nodes, and they're causing these chain reactions, right? Boom, 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 boom. That's what we have to do. We have to infect everybody's mind with the truth, no matter what avenue that we go down. It's our weapon. Truth is our weapon. And so we're going to have to back it up with facts. I know a lot of you guys, and like me too, I sometimes talk off the top of my head, even if I'm right about some of these things, like the methods of which we're being attacked. It's going to be tough for people to believe that, right? Because I see a lot of other targeted individuals. We gotta start backing up, some of these things with facts and stuff. Our truths, we back up our truths with facts, and we can't be beat, because they know. That's why the mainstream media doesn't talk about this stuff a lot. They know that when the public catches wind of something, things change. And for how much longer that's going to be in our world, because of the kind of technology and control that these massive corporations and the military industrial complex are trying to grab in the world, I don't know. I don't know how things are going to change, but we better, while we still have some humanity left, some people that we can, you there? Are you there? While we still got some of that left, we better be like an alien face hugger on their face. Like, look, you can't get away from this. This is happening to the world and everybody. It's time, guys. It's been time, and we're doing it. We're doing it. We're getting the information out there. More to come, guys. But chain reactions. Think about a chain reaction, and think about yourself as a targeted individual and how you can be a chain reaction, right? You may not be able to fell the program to just take down the whole military industrial complex, but you sure can start a chain reaction. And who knows where that chain reaction is going to go, right? Especially if you believe in God, which everybody should. Creation equals creator. I don't understand people's, I guess like atheism is some kind of psyop or something. But you got to think, you be the chain reaction, right? Like, you're a target individual. What kind of chain reaction can you get started? Not violence. I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about truth and ideas. We got to use our brains before they're gone. That's a scary thought, but we've got to use our free will and our free thinking and our creativity before it is clamped down on a wide scale. And it's already happening. It's already happening. All right, guys. I love y'all. Thanks for coming. Sorry you came in late, Autumn. But I'll be doing a lot of live streams. I hope your family's doing okay. I hope you and your family are doing all right. I hope you're staying strong. I hope you're finding something. I know, like I tell you guys about the defenses, and I know that some people, it's like they just don't work for them, or they're not working for them. Some of these things, it should be, if you're using it enough. I don't know. We're going to do defensive. We're going to do a defensive video. I'm going to try and keep it organized. Then after that, we'll do some random stuff where I come on, and then you guys can come and voice what y'all want to talk about. All right. I love you guys. Yeah, Autumn just said it. Mariko Phillips, stay strong. Yeah. And hey, Mariko. Yeah, that's all I can say right now, guys, is just stay strong. Hold on. This is coming out. Okay, and I didn't say this. The positive thing about videos like this, or channels like this, Transhumania, is they understand that people are aware of it now, right? So they're trying to spin it. Because they understand people are starting to get it that, you know, signals can interact with the brain, that these things can be done. So they're trying to kind of do damage control. They're trying to wag the dog, right, with the tail. We just gotta, you know, we gotta jump on any kind of good information they put out, jump up on it, and put the rest of the truth in there too, right? So any kind of misinformation or disinformation you find, add to it. Like if you find some if you find some straight up disinformation that somebody's purposely putting out, you know, maybe make a video about it and be like, hey, this was true about that. Let me go ahead and add to this, and this was a lie. You know, we've got to start correcting and jumping up on people that are trying to control the narrative, and just jump up on it. And you know, there's going to be there's going to be, I don't want to say misinformation, but this is a complicated issue. So, you know, we might get things wrong sometimes, but as long as we're, you know, chugging along. All right, guys, I've been going on forever, so I kind of want to end the live stream. I love y'all, and more to come soon, guys.